And welcome everybody to the Fandom Zone. I should have made a cool avatar.
You love right now?
I figured that would be some good like elevator music while we were waiting. If you guys didn't know, that was some of the theme songs from Attack on Titan, which is what we will be talking about today. But before we get started, let me have my co-host of this event introduce himself. Go ahead, Aaron.
You're this perp. Been waiting for this for a very long time. I couldn't miss this one.
Yeah. So this is going to be a great discussion that we are going to have. I'm going to try to keep it non-spoilers, but I have an awesome banner. So if we do get into spoiler territory, I will flash the spoiler banner, which will just let everybody know that we're going to be talking about something that may spoil it. And then, when the banner's down, then, you can proceed.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I started doing that because it was like, well, what if someone jumps into your conversation and you're spoiling something and they don't know it? So I was like, yeah, I'll just do a spoiler banner. I'll just keep it across the screen. So, you guys are on the third episode of Watch Anime, and tonight we will be talking all things Attack on Titan. So we'll be going over our thoughts for the first, second, and third season. Maybe we'll hit some plot points there and some things, talk about who we like, who we don't like, and then maybe towards the ending give you our thoughts of where the fourth season is going, or what we know is definitely going, or theories. That's what we do.
The fourth and final season.
The fourth and final season, yes. And it's funny, you made a lot of references to Game of Thrones. I never got what you meant until I got to like the third season. Then I was like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Because that's where you start to get into the political aspects of the show. And I got to say, I mean, if it sticks the landing, I think that this may have actually done it better than Game of Thrones, to tell you the truth.
And the thing about it, they don't spend too much time on it. It's only that like first half. They get through it pretty quickly.
And I gotta say though, it was actually really intriguing though. I mean, and we continue.
You talking about like everything with like Levi and Kenny?
Yeah, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole thing, which once again I don't want to jump around because I do want to kind of hit it chronologically so that we can kind of give people an overview and kind of let them know about some different options because I think that this show does something that I've never seen, and I'm glad I went back through and watched them all because I forgot some like key plot points and things like that. So it was good to go back through and watch everything again to get it fresh in my mind. And I'll tell you, folks, I literally sat up all night to the next day, and then I went to see Jurassic Park with the girl. So it was.
Sounds like a long day.
Oh man, it was like literally right up till we went live. I've been watching Attack on Titan, and I went back through because I like to watch everything twice, but I really want to go back through the third season just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Right.
But man, I got through 2 seasons like a champion. So it was a long day and night, folks. But anyways, before we get started, I'm going to kind of give you guys an overview, and then Perp, you can kind of chime in if I miss anything. But we'll start from the first season, and we'll kind of go through from there, and then we'll go into the third season, and then we'll do what we think is gonna happen in the fourth and final season, and then we'll give our final thoughts and we'll call it a day. But the very first season of this, and what makes this intriguing, is the first season of this show is I like to think of it as kind of like phases. So the first season deals with our protagonist, Eren, and what the hell is her name? Mikasa. Yeah. His adopted sister, but you know how the Japanese get weird with that because
they're not related. It's just like, you know, they kind of it's explained more later on, but you know, yeah, they're technically like they're not related by blood, but you know, they're pretty close. You could just say they're just childhood friends. Really.
Childhood friends, yeah, because it'll make it weirder for when you go later down the road. It's not a Game of Thrones thing, people.
And then you have Armin. Armin is, you know, the brains of the three.
Yes, and you have Armin, of course. And these three grew up together. And where this show, the way they break it into these sections is clever because the first season deals a lot with them with being kids. And as a soldier myself, I appreciate how, unlike Star Wars, there's actual training. Like you see these guys training, like you literally get what, like 3 or 4 episodes worth of just them showing this like boot camp that they go through to train.
Right after the first episode, they do like a little time skip. And and then it's like episode 2, 3, or 4 are them training and stuff.
Yeah, so you get like 4 episodes of training, but I don't want to jump around. So, anyways, you have these childhood friends. They all grew up together, and the premise of the story is there are these giant creatures called Titans. They're like giant humanoids. They walk around pretty much naked. I like to think of them as what humans used to be, and then they're kind of devolved and aggressive. They operate on basic instincts, which is you know, hunting, feeding, all that stuff, and they're trying to get at these people who live in this walled off city. And there's like 4 sections.
And it kind of like that aspect of the story kind of brings back like zombies. Like they kind of act like zombies, like in a way.
It's like a Walking Dead scenario, right? The Earth is a much different place. And now here's the interesting thing about this is that even where I'm at right now, there are hints that this is a regression of civilization because later on, you do get them using guns and whatnot. But for the first 2 seasons, just about, you don't even see guns. They're riding horses. It's a back to a primitive state of the way the world was. So you have no clue as to if this is kind of like our timeline and then we digressed, or if this is somewhere in like World War II time, somewhere like that,
And they depict the just the setting so perfectly. Like, it's not this happy-go-lucky like environment. Like, it's very depressing. Like, anytime they go out and, like, even when they show in the first episode where Aaron's like excited to see like the scouts come back and they're all fucked up, and one dude literally had to bring back a dude's arm to this lady, whatever, because that's like her son or something like that, or it's shit like that. It's just, they really do a good job of capturing like the atmosphere and just how fucked up this world is.
Yeah, so when you're watching this now, and it's interesting the way they started too, because they grab you with fast-paced action. They don't tell you in the first 2 seasons exactly how the politics of the world works. You're just more of dealing with the survivors. And I was thinking about this a lot, Herb. I actually did some notes. So I got my little notepad. But I noticed that each season showed different perspectives. So season 1, you're dealing with the scouts, they call them. These people who go out and they traverse the world where the Titans are. They're basically the people who are, like in the military, they're scouting stuff out.
We should break that down too. Like, there's the scouts, there's the Rose. There's like 3 different factions and stuff, but like the ones that really get their hands dirty are the scouts. The other ones, they not so much.
The MPs and the Rose Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, which like I said, I took my notes. I'm fresh off of like my eyes are as red as your avatar right now. But I told you I was gonna get it done by the time we went live. Man, I powered through this, but yeah, it was worth it. And I'll tell you what, people, I literally binged this like I started on Friday and on and off, and then I went solid 24. So by Friday night, I was like, before we went live, I was already halfway through the first season. Saturday, I was just rounding the second season, and then just powered all the way through. This morning, I was on the 3rd season.
Yeah,
got through episodes, and then finished the rest literally before we went live. Yes, Curtis.
He really did it. Yeah,
So,
like when I first watched the first season, I could have literally finished that shit in one day. It's just like those last 2 episodes, I was so tired, and I was just like, all right, let me take a break. And I came back and finished those last 2 episodes.
For me, I knew I could do it because I finished half of Death Note in a day, and anyone who knows, half of that arc is long, and that's just the first arc. So, I mean, I knew it was possible. I just didn't think I could do it. I've done a lot of energy drinks. I can't say whether or not there's substances involved. And we have our other guest panelist,
What up?
Fatal J.
General Zod. I am here for duty.
What's up, bro?
We are
What's up, bro?
talking. We are just now going over the first arc of Attack on Titans. So,
man, it's been taking me years to catch up on that show, man. Years. I need to catch up and finish, man.
So wait, you just watched the first season?
I just watched the first season, and that was it.
Okay, because at least we could just talk about that with you, the first season with you and stuff. So,
because I want to know what the freak the Titans, where they came from, how it happened. I want to know all this stuff, man.
See now that would be a spoiler. Huge spoiler. But yeah, continue what you're saying, Zod.
Yeah, so the way I was breaking this down is before we got into the breakdown of how the sections go, when you look at the show, it is expertly crafted because the first season is through the eyes of the scouts, the units, what it is to be a soldier. And that resonated with me because I've been in the military. And I'm watching this, watching the drill instructor who comes and he's giving them shit. And the guys are talking about how he's trained to do that, to break them down. And that resonated with me being on the other side of having that training. It's like this is like exactly what it's like, and especially in a world that asks you to lay down your life, you got to have tough people break them down. So I think a lot of the first season is through the soldiers' eyes, the second season is through the Titans' eyes, and the third one is the real world politics. And I'm thinking the fourth one is going to be to settle everything. But wouldn't you say that'd be an accurate breakdown, Perp?
Yeah, that's pretty spot on. I agree with that because like the first season, you know, it's just to set everything up, and then when you get to the second season, pretty much explain it goes in a lot more detail with the Titans and stuff, and then they get into political stuff by the third season, like the first half and then the second half. It's just crazy,
Balls to the wall craziness, man. I don't want to
crazy.
spoil anything because I know Stevie hasn't seen it. I know Fado,
But
who's on our panel, hasn't seen it yet.
but I want to say something about season one because why season one is so special. I've never seen in an anime or TV show the first 6 episodes, and you know what I'm talking about, where like they set it up to where a certain character um ends up pretty much dying, but comes back. But that to me, those first 6 episodes have never been like are just gold. You could just straight up make a movie out of those first 6 episodes.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, and I think that is what draws everyone into this anime in particular is the fact of the way the animation is clean. It's brutally violent, but it's
It
also very realistic. It's hyper realistic in its violence.
it it,
But
it
See, I
brings it
love
back.
shows like that. I
It
love
brings
shows where it's no hope, but you still use your will. You know what I
right.
mean?
hmm and it brings it back to like how anime was in the 90s. You
Man,
know that.
I love 90 anime. I was watching a lot of
Yeah.
90s anime today. Ghost in the Shell, Akira. That's the
Yes.
good golden stuff, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's crazy. That's why like I think because every decade has like that defining like anime and stuff, like in the 90s they had Dragon Ball Z for the most part.
But this
Then
the thing that I like about it though. It seemed like everything was hand drawn. Anime today got a lot of CGI in it. I don't really like that, man.
yeah, it's like Attack on Titan does that. They have the 3D, but like it's very minimum. It's only like for like big scale things, like you see the Colossal Titan or something like that, he's mostly hand drawn, or sometimes just to make it easier, they'll have a CG version of the Colossal Titan, which looks god awful.
Yeah.
I prefer the hand drawn Colossal Titan, but
um, hold on, really quickly, while the person is in here, I want to say, hey, Jisby, and just to let you guys know, make sure you sub to her. But a special announcement, really quick, before we continue. Next Saturday for Fandom Talks, she will be my guest here on the channel. So,
ooh,
yeah, I'm going to be doing an interview with her about her channel. So make sure you guys come by and check that out. Continue.
Zod. Zod, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Do you remember when Lonely Banter had his first live stream?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
I was about to say because I was on it and I was wondering, was that you on there with me?
Oh, the first one. Yes. Gosh, it seems like a while ago. Yeah, that was
That was
the
you,
first one.
Zod.
Yeah, that was me.
Man, back then, I didn't know who the freak you was, man. But I said, man, that dude is cool, man. Look like he got a circus background or something.
Yeah, that's my dojo. Hold on, turn on my cam for a second. So that's uh my place of business where I work at. So
Yeah, I saw that and I just instantly thought circus in my head, man.
Sorry, Jeezby. Oh my goodness. PB, glad you're here, even though you don't watch anime to berate me. I swear
What
he
up,
just
PB?
popped in. He popped in the chat to throw some clever, witty comments.
What's he
as
saying?
does. He says it's Jeezby. Fuck.
Hey, man, do y'all remember Toonami?
Yeah.
Man, remember
Yeah.
the good old days when Toonami used to come on, man? That stuff was legendary.
Right.
I missed them days, man.
Yeah, they brought back Toonami, but like they play at like 11 o'clock at night.
Well, I remember they used to have a slot like that. They used to come on like right after when you get home from school. And then they had that 11 o'clock where they played Dragon Ball Z and the characters be all bloody.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Z Uncut. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had like the Big O and all that shit.
Yeah, the Big O, Gundam.
Yeah,
That's
speaking of which, I'm gonna be doing chats with all of those, but I'm gonna swing it back around to Attack on Titans, being that we're on the first season and you've seen it, Fatal. For you, what grabbed your interest about the show?
I don't know, man. It was just a good story. Like the people, it just seemed like they didn't have no hope. I love stories where the masses is like in a apocalyptic type era, but the people have enough will to keep fighting. I love that type of stuff. I don't want to see a story where the people are perfect or the people is wealthy and rich and living a great life. I can't relate to that, man. I can't relate, man. I'm cheap as hell, man. I just ate the dollar. I just ate the dollar menu today at McDonald's, so I can't relate to some stories like that. I want to see where people are struggling, but yet they still persevering and fighting, man.
That's very true, and that's another thing that grabs me. The first season delves in a lot with, especially in particular when they're focusing on Aaron and his loss and setting up his character. You can see, as you said, that will to live is what I feel like the highlight of that particular season is the willingness to do what you have to do, and the stuff that the people go through, when their town is attacked and you see the people panicking and things like that. It's it's very good in capturing in the first season in particular the panic and the struggles, and when they set it up, it's been per a few years since the Titans were actually able to get into this city. So when stuff happens,
because they just built those walls, so it's like they haven't had any like issues with the Titans for years.
Yeah, and then one day the motherfuckers crashed straight through it. They crashed straight through the.
You saw the Colossal Titan just straight kick through the fucking the wall,
and you scared everybody.
You had the Armor Titan break through the other wall, like
yeah.
What a way to just introduce like this I'm just gonna call them, for lack of better terms, the special Titans, the ones that aren't like not the abnormal ones that they go around and killing, the ones that have certain abilities. But yeah, man, it's just I find the first season to be very special, especially with Aaron, because he's not your typical shonen protagonist. Because like if you think of all the different shonen protagonists, like going back to like Goku to Naruto to even like Deku off of My Hero Academia, they all have this same motivation. Like Goku wants to be the strongest, Naruto wants to be the next Hokage. Aaron just wants to kill every single Titan.
Bro,
And
speaking of
like,
that, and I ain't trying to get off topic, but
mm,
that what was that anime you said? Academia.
oh, My Hero Academia.
I watched the first season of that, and man, that last episode was off the freaking hook.
Yeah, that's a really another good anime. Like
What's
that's
the dude name that's like he get real skinny and then he get real yoked up? What's his
that's All
name?
Might.
All Might, man, All Might in that last episode, man, I swear I was jumping around in my room like a little kid when he was fighting that villain, man.
Yeah, it gets crazy. Like it's like because for a while before Attack on Titan and like My Hero came out, after Bleach got done, it was definitely like a pretty long drought. There wasn't really any really big animes until Attack on Titan came out, until My Hero started coming out. Then you started seeing this resurgence of like just really dope anime being put out, and this has definitely been one of the best years for anime.
Oh yeah.
I think in a long time.
Yeah, so I mean, coming back to the characterization of Aaron, and you know, comparing him to other characters, I think it's deeper to my like for him as far as protagonist goes, because he gives me the feel of, like you said, 90s anime with deeper motivations. It's not just killing the Titans per se. It's also a sense of feeling helpless. Like when you see that scene, that is his genesis, is to being the badass he's going to become. It's that feeling of when he was in the particular situation he was in, because I'm trying not to spoil anything, and he saw what he saw. It was the feeling like at that moment he couldn't do anything, and the people who were supposed to be able to do something essentially like hauled ass and was like, well, we're not gonna be able to stop this from happening, so we got to get you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how it showed the soldier's perspective of feeling like a failure, but his perspective of also feeling like he couldn't do anything, and he's like, what, like 8 years old or something.
Yeah, he's a kid. Like he literally talks to one of the dudes like, "Yo, you guys are like cowards. Like, why aren't you out here, like getting ready? Like, why aren't you doing something about it?" Like, and that's the thing about Aaron. He has a lot of heart. He has a lot of heart. But like I said, those first 6 episodes are telling because they're all rookies. They just get thrown into the shit, and they think it's gonna be easy to kill one of these Titans, but they find out that it's not all cookies and sunshine and rainbows with these Titans. They're not. They're a lot harder, because it's one of those things where everybody was getting hyped. They're excited to go to war and whatnot. Then when you get into the shit, a lot of them started like just
freezing up.
Yeah, freezing up and just got themselves fucked up, and I loved it.
But yeah, that's real, man. Because think about it. What if they put us in the army and then all of a sudden we fight our first Titan? We might freeze up too.
Yeah.
I actually have a story to that. I remember when I was in the service, you got all these people who talk crap, and I don't like talking about a lot of it. But there's always, I liked it because there is always that sense of people think that, oh yeah, when the time comes, I'm gonna blast all these people and whatnot. And you don't realize you are facing another human being. You're taking someone else's life. And unless you're heartless and ruthless like the other side, or you've had years of doing it, you don't know how you're gonna react when you're thrown into that situation. You can't say most definite, oh yeah, I got this, I'm gonna just blast all these fools. And I've seen it with my own two eyes. So watching that scene in particular, I was like, the way they captured the military sense is kind of amazing. It's like someone actually was like had served or something, or they got experts in it and they were taking notes on this because you have those situations. Like, you see your best friend next to you, and this is an anime, so it's over dramatized, but you see someone next to you die, and you've been with them since
they get eaten.
Yeah, but just giving it a real world sense for people. You see the person next to you die, and you don't know what you're gonna do because this is a person you slept with, you ate with, you shared your time with, you joked around, and then bam, they're just gone.
And I think that was really important for the audience to see, because like I said, most of them were all of them are pretty much rookies, just thrown into there, really unexperienced. They only had like 3 years of training, so it's like they definitely weren't prepared.
No, they weren't, and it was intriguing and horrific, and it was very well captured. And I think that is the thing that makes the show feel even more realistic.
And that's what I like about Attack of the Titans too. You on that journey with them, and you rooting for them. You know what I'm saying? So that already pulls you into the show anyway. And that's what I like about certain animes. The Japanese people, man, they take these cartoons seriously. It's not like it's way different from American cartoons, man. It be all cute and stuff with no blood and gore, but the Japanese, man, they go all in when it come to anime.
Yeah, the character development is really, really, really good. Like, especially when you get to where you're at now in season 3, like it's just wow. It like looking back at like season 1 and comparing it to where they're at now, it's just like I would have never thought like it would get to this. Especially just in the first season, just seeing Eren deal with certain things and other people not trusting him, and the introduction of like Captain Levi, which you don't see a lot of him in season 1, but when you do see him, he makes his presence known. Who's this guy, and just like, and you see what he's able to do. He's an Ackerman, so it's like Ackermans are automatically OP by default.
Yeah, and I think that that's really highlighted in particular scenes of season 2, which we'll get to that squad when we dive into our season 2 talk. But for season 1, the other big highlight for me there was also the introduction to the abilities that Eren has a unique ability. And hold on a second, I'm just gonna put up my little thing. So, Eren has and just in case you didn't see it, this is gonna be a spoiler. So there's spoilers. Anyone who hasn't seen it or wants to see it, just fast forward.
If you don't care about spoilers, then that's on you.
You've been warned. So Eren has the abilities, and in season 1, it is brought out that he can turn into a Titan, and that when he gets angry or when he's in pain, he turns into one of the Titans, and he starts to fight these other. PB says spoilers. You ain't gonna watch the show.
So this season 2, right?
No, season 1 still.
Season 1.
Okay. See, man, I'm telling you, the first time I seen Attack of the Titans, it was on Cartoon Network, but it was like 5 or 6 years ago when I seen it.
Yeah, it came out in 2013.
Yeah, that's when I first met my wife, man.
So yeah, so during the season, he winds up turning into one of the Titans, and it's when you kind of start to get hinted at that people can do this. At this time, they think that he's the only person, but no one sees him when he changes. So he comes out as a Titan, but starts fighting other Titans. So now, in the middle of this crazy battle, you have another Titan attacking other Titans, and now these new recruits are thoroughly confused.
Yeah, they really, and they're like, and once they find out that it's Aaron, they're like, "Yo, can we trust him? Is he like a traitor or some type of?" They literally like freaking out like when they have him in the trial. Like they put him on trial or whatever to figure out what to do with him because they don't know what like if he's going to transform. They don't even know how the transformation even works and stuff. Like it's pretty crazy. Like, and then you get that iconic scene where Levi just comes in and just beats the shit out of him,
I remember that.
saying like, "Yo, I could kill you at any time if I wanted to." But I know he like Levi even kind of is skeptical about about Aaron and him turning into a Titan, but
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty iconic moment. So, with that being said, I'm gonna take my spoilers banners off. All right, so now let me ask you, Perp, just from the first season, before we get introduced to anyone else, who's one of your favorite characters and why? And then we'll go to Fatal next.
Mikasa. Mikasa. She is a badass. Like when you talk about like badass female characters, you're not talking about no fucking Captain Marvel or none of that bullshit. Mikasa is like the definition of it. Like she's ride or die for Aaron. Like can't nobody's gonna sit there and disrespect Aaron in front of her. And like, he even when Aaron was getting beat up by Levi, you know, Mikasa was going to, jump into it, and Armin stopped her and like, nah, just let this play out. You don't want to end up getting killed or some shit. And she's just on it. She doesn't question nothing. She's ride or die, and I love that about her. She's my favorite character.
All right, awesome. Fatal, from what you can remember.
From if he talking about the same girl I'm talking about, I'm thinking about she stood out in the whole series, and she always took up for Aaron. And like he said, that was just a strong female character without saying she's a strong female character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's the silent kind. She doesn't brag about.
Exactly, kind of like the Kill Bill movie with what was her name? I know it's Uma Thurman, but I'm trying to think of the name of her in the movie. Wasn't it Beatrice Kiddo?
Yeah.
I love that female character, and that character didn't have to prove to us that she was a strong woman. So I'm with my boy Perp. She's a good character. She's probably she's the best character.
Like you take in the first episode where Aaron confronts those three dudes that are like picking on him and stuff, and he's ready to throw down with all of them, and then they see that Mikasa's like right behind him, and like, oh shit, the girl, like, and Mikasa also helps keep Aaron in line also too. He's she's kind of his voice of reason.
Yeah.
Next to Armin, also Armin.
And thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. We had someone else new here who I didn't get a chance to address. Oh my goodness, this thing's so long. Kristen, I believe it was. Yeah. Thank you for stopping by too. Anyways, yeah. Oh, Second Street Marvel. What's up? Good to see you.
He's talking about me right now. And he just doesn't know I love him with all my heart.
We are talking. If you just got in, we're talking about Attack on Titan. I'd have to say my favorite character, of course, is Levi, and I liked him when he was introduced. I didn't realize how much I was gonna like him until the particular scene in the woods when him and Misha had to take care of business, and you saw that was the first time you saw how much of a badass he actually is.
Bro, he took
was
down
on
the
that-
female. He took down the female Titan like it was nothing.
by himself.
Like it's
Wow.
nothing.
And make no mistake, the crew that they're part of is an elite group of people. Lord Callis, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
What's up, Callis?
Yes, I acquired Fatal J. Inside joke. Yeah, they you know, when they finally drop how good he is, and I like him even more after watching the third season because it really kind of goes back to some roots that I came from, and when you get his backstory, it's very interesting.
Hold on. To answer Lord Callis' question, yes, I am General Zord's one of his generals, and when we take over this planet, you better hope that we don't destroy you.
Facts. Oh.
Let's even highlight one character that like kind of not a lot of people really recognize, but you know, till later on, later seasons is Erwin, Commander Erwin.
Yes.
The one that he pretty much, that's the only person that Levi like listens to pretty much.
Yeah, Commander Erwin is a very stoic, brilliant guy. Where even amongst his own people, he doesn't let everyone see what the plan is, but he's always got a plan,
Right.
and he's very brilliant. And when a particular thing happens, I'm not gonna lie, I get pissed.
I kind of compare him to like a Captain America. That's the way he like kind of holds himself. Captain America with a lot of secrets.
Yeah,
that's a good. Yeah,
but
I would say.
In the end, when you see season 3, I don't want to spoil anything in case anyone isn't caught up, but you'll just see he is the kind of character that still has the people in mind with his actions. It doesn't seem like it when he takes particular actions, but everything he does aligns with how the greater good, what's good for the people, and basically serving the rule even when the rule isn't serving the people. He's serving the idea of what they should be upholding.
And I'll even throw another one up there. I'll put Annie. Annie was really a really strong character in this too. Another dope female character that doesn't say much, but when she shows up, she definitely like makes her presence known, and just the mystery all behind her and stuff. It's just amazing stuff. I really, especially like that last fight in the last like 2 episodes, amazing. From the animation to just, and think about that. Think about that for a second, Zod. That was 2013 animation.
Yep.
And look at where they're at now. And look at where they're at now. Like the way their show looks, and it's incredible.
Zord.
Yeah.
I think we got some beef in the chat. Lord Callis said, "Bro, I'm a Sith Lord. I ain't worried about no general and his henchmen. Thumbs activation switch, lightning sparks at fingertips. You better ask somebody."
Lord Callis, that's very interesting, but I am a Kryptonian, and your light stick will not hurt me.
Exactly, because you move at faster than a bullet. He ain't gonna be able to see you, man.
Let's just keep in mind that first time me and Kal-El met, it did not go well for him. He had to get some BS, throw the cellophane off of his chest.
Hey,
trap me.
and not to mention what you did to him in Man of Steel.
Yeah. Facts. Just saying.
Oh, I just want to throw this out here, just in case if anybody was wondering where they could watch this shit at. You can watch this on Netflix, but Netflix didn't update none of their shit, so I think they still only got the first and second season or something like that. But you can mainly watch this on Funimation or Crunchyroll. If you want to know what that is, just do your Googles. Go on your Play Store, your Apple. You know what I'm saying? It's an app. Just
Yeah.
It has like Crunchyroll has more of the subtitle shit, and Funimation has more of the dubbed. Which one you would prefer. I would go with the subbed because the sub just sounds a lot better to me. They're both equally good, but just certain aspects, like just the sub just hits more.
Bro, you right though, because I never forget when I was young, I used to hear people say all the times, "Oh, you watching the dub? You need to watch the subs." And I'm like, man, look, I ain't trying to do all that reading. But then I had I forgot what the anime was. Something Cyborg 7 or something like that. But it had the sub and it had the dub. So I was comparing both, and it seemed like the subs had more emotion to it.
Yeah.
So I said, man, after today, man, I'm just to rock with the subs for now on.
And let me tell an interesting story about this, right? So I used to be one of those people that were just mainly dubbed. You know, I didn't watch too many subs. Like the only subbed anime I watched was Bleach, because like I was at the time when Bleach was on, they still had the dub, and I caught up to the dub, and I was like, nah, I just want to keep going. So I just sucked it up and just ended up going with the sub. It takes a while. It doesn't take that long for your brain to get used to that, because
Yeah.
you get used to it very quickly, like to seeing the subtitles and then seeing what's on screen. But Attack on Titan season 1 was my first full sub that I just watched. I watched that whole entire thing. I could have finished that shit in a day, but I finished that in like 2 days.
But I'm
Now,
gonna
I
tell you
will
something
say
else.
I watched Helsing, and I like the dub because I like Father Anderson's voice better.
Yeah,
like
I could agree with
Irish
that.
Catholic, but I like the sub because Alucard sounds better. Like talking, and when he yells, it sounds more like ferocious.
What you talking about, Zard? What anime?
Helsing.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that. I thought you
If
was
you-
talking about Castlevania on Netflix.
No,
So
if you get a
it's
chance,
kinda
watch
similar.
Helsing. Yeah, I'll talk about that sometime too. But Helsing is it's beast. It's
But-
basically a vampire hunts other vampires.
But Zard and Perp, can I tell y'all something?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Bro, that sub for Dragon Ball Z is straight garbage. Cause
Nah.
Goku sound like a little bi, man. Is
You
that
know what? The funny thing about it, that's an 80-year-old woman doing his voice, yelling like that.
she
I
sound
give her credit.
horrible.
I love Vegeta's voice subbed more than I do the dub.
I do agree. Vegeta sounds fire.
I like Frieza's sub voice where he's like, ho, 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 ho. Like that shit is hilarious. That
But
shit
y'all
is
like
gold.
Goku though? Y'all like the voice of Goku?
Yeah, because like the way the Japanese, like the way we they interpret his character in the subtitles is like he comes off more of like an anti-hero, where over here they try to make him more like just like I don't know how to really put it, but you know, I just
Like he's more of a protagonist, and I'm gonna say this because I've said this in Dragon Ball Z 1. Yo, Goku's the most terrible father ever. I'm just gonna say that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
He don't give a care about his kids.
He's talking about, son, I gotta leave and go to another planet, and then he's gonna put Earth on the line in the planet just so he can prove he's the toughest fighter. And I'm like, bro, you didn't even ask Earth. You
And
just
not to
volunteered
mention-
us.
and not to mention he a bad husband. He do Chi-Chi dirty.
right.
Like,
Facts.
when are you gonna be back? I don't know, like 10 years.
But I see a lot of people saying that like they don't really like the sub, but like it's a thing you just gotta get used to it, and like you gotta realize that that was there before. Those were the original voice actors before they even came up with like Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabbath and all that for the dub and stuff. So
Not
those
to
are
mention
like the
too, with the stuff
OGs.
going on with Funimation, we covered this on the late nights. You know, I ain't big these days into supporting the American end. I was watching watching Attack of Titan on in sub because you know
Yeah,
I understand Japanese, so I don't need the subtitles.
Man,
but
if I watch Attack of the Titans on subs, I'll probably be crying.
and that's the thing. Like I would really recommend people watching the sub. Like just really, just really like give it a try because it's for me it was just way more immersive. And I even went back and like saw the dub for season 3 and certain shit like it hit not they didn't hit like the sub did. But you know like certain things with Grisha with Aaron's father like his dub voice sounds so fucking weird compared to his sub. Same thing with Levi. Levi's sub I think is more more menacing than his dub because his dub he just sounds like all nonchalant and stuff. It's still cool, but it's just like I wish I could kind of give you an example of it, but you know, you would have to just watch it for yourself. But I definitely highly recommend watching the subs.
Perp and Zard, I got a question. Is the Attack of the Titans live action dope?
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty good for what they were going for. It's definitely the CGI is a hit or miss because Japanese CGI is
They don't have the budget that you know that we have.
yeah.
This is
It's
what I
their
love.
movie side is different.
But this is what I love about the Japanese live actions. They stay true to the source. Cause I got a live action of Kenshin. Y'all familiar with
Oh yeah,
Kenshin, right?
yeah.
That's
Man,
fire.
that live action is probably one of the best martial arts movie I ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. They
And
yeah.
and they did it perfectly just like the anime.
The live action for Attack on Titan is 2 parts, and I think it goes as far as I want to say season 2 because at the time season 3 wasn't out yet. So it's like a 2 part movie that follows season 1 and 2, and then they're doing another
Mm.
movie on season 3, and they'll probably do another one after the show wraps up. So, Wookiees Lives Matter. Live action Death Note, not the Japanese version. Netflix version sucked, but you get the Japanese theatrical one. Was more true to the source material. And
That
even that,
Netflix
they
is
changed some
trash.
stuff, but not much.
You know what, y'all? I may be the eyeball in it. And yes, I've seen Death Note, the anime, but I kind of enjoyed that live action movie.
The Netflix one?
I like the Netflix one, man.
Oh, you're wilding.
I
The
like
love dome.
I
The
like the
love
black
dome.
dude, man. The black dude, he a good actor. He all over Hollywood too. I can't think his
Yeah.
name right now.
But he was a horrible elf.
Lakeith, was it Lakeith or something like that?
Yeah, he a great actor, man.
Yeah, he's a great actor, but it's like, yo, he did not do L justice. He did not do L justice.
Yeah, it was all over the place. But if you would have took that away, like just say this not Death Note and this is just a regular movie, I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, if it wasn't called Death Note, then yeah, it would have been cool.
Yeah,
I've heard that from a lot of people that they say that. See, me, I can't undo that. The name of my review, as a matter of fact, for that is called "Wish I Had a Death Note." Yeah, because I would write all of the people who made that movie in that notebook because they killed it for me. It was like it was like Dawson's Creek Death Note.
So I'm guessing to close out season 1, what was your favorite moment?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to say my favorite moment of season 1 would have to be Oh, that's a tough one, but I'd have to say, um, I'd have to say those final episodes, and I liked how, um, I liked how they captured that it was that one girl. I forgot her name, but everyone liked her, and I liked the fact that Armin put it together who it was, and it showed you.
Yeah, Armin
It,
Armin is like, yo, he is like the smartest dude on that whole entire show.
yeah, and you get a, and I liked uh how you get a sense of how his mind works and how he's the first one to put it together. But in particularly, I like just like um, how it captured that they didn't feel bad because she had killed mad people, but they also did kind of feel it too, especially I think him, and
Hmm.
because she clearly had feelings for him because she could have taken him out like several times and
Right.
chose not to. And I think for me, I liked seeing for the first time the tragedy of that because they're on opposite ends.
Hmm.
And you find this out, which we'll be getting into season 2, I imagine right now, but you find this out as you go through that. And it showed for me because I've gone through this situation. When you are in war or you're fighting against another side, you could have a situation where two people from opposite sides essentially feel the same way, like the same things, but you're divided by a war. You know, you're enemies, but in a sense, you're still people. You still like the same things, or you can still have feelings towards different people, even though you're on opposite ends of the conflict. And I think that's very powerful. I think it's especially more powerful that an anime kind of brings that to the forefront. You know, it's it's it. I'm not gonna lie. I might have had a few moments when I kind of like maybe teared up a couple of scenes, and it's more because it it hit me from
Real.
the soldier's perspective. Like certain things I saw hit a little bit closer, and it speaks to the realism of the show, like how they
Hmm.
depict war, how they depict being a
And
soldier and
I'm
doing.
glad you I'm glad you said that though, because I always look at other shows and it's like, take Game of Thrones for example, right? The episode season 8 episode, the wall, what was it, the Battle of Winterfell?
Mm-hmm.
After they won, it just didn't seem like they even fought the dead, like their lives weren't on the line or anything like that. It was just like another day, and with Attack on Titan, anytime they come across or the Titans, or they got to go on a mission, you know a lot of people end up dying, and that kills a lot of their morale, but they know they have to keep going, they have to keep pushing forward. And you know I really like that about Attack on Titan. But I would like to say that just real quick, my favorite moment was episode 6.
Okay.
By far. Yeah,
Is
What
the
that
tech
what it
is Attack of the
what?
Titan still on Netflix?
yeah, it should still be on Netflix.
All right,
Oh,
I'm
and
big.
They
welcome
just
Abu Nas. Thank
Abu
you for
Nas.
stopping in.
Abu Nas, what's up, my brother?
But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, episode 6. What in that episode in particular do you like?
It's just the way that they subverted your expectations. Like, that was a true definition of subverting somebody's expectations. Like, you have Aaron just on this high, like, I'm about to kill all these Titans, and then bam, I'm gonna say a spoiler.
Oh, hold on. Spoiler banner. There we go. Go ahead.
You got Aaron doing all this shit, doing all this fly shit, and out of nowhere, and he's narrating to himself. He's sitting there talking to himself, and you're hearing him talk to himself. He's like, "I'm gonna kill all these Titans, god damn it!" Da, da, da." And then boom, gets eaten. Fucking epic. And then you think the main character just died within 6 episodes. Amazing.
Yeah. So that was a good subversion of expectations. I agree because you know you're sitting here going, damn, I thought that was the main character. But don't get it twisted. This show is not afraid to take out characters that you love that they highlight. And I gotta say, only one thing that really does annoy me, and this is a trope in anime in general, is anytime, and I'm not spoiling this, if you watch anime, you'll know. Anytime you get a moment where they're highlighting a person, don't get attached to them, because that person's
Right.
gonna die by the end of the episode.
That's
And
facts.
I can always pick out who's gonna die, because as soon as they start doing flashbacks and playing that music, you like, shit, I like that person.
But what's really like unique about Attack on Titan is like they don't make it predictable. Like you can't watch this and predict what's gonna happen. Because I guarantee you watch the first season, you can't even tell me what's gonna like I'll ask you, be like, yo, what do you think's gonna happen in the next season? You're not gonna it's not it, they do a really good job of, just hiding certain things and not just giving you it all. They like spoon feed you kind of with the first season.
I do like that. I will say though, there were still some deaths where I kind of by the third, I kind of got into a flow and I knew there were some people that got taken out unexpectedly, like that one general dude who went back out and was like, "What are you doing?" And that was I was like, "Oh, he's done." But and I didn't see that coming. But there's some people where like you get the flashbacks and the highlights, and you're like, "Yep, they're done." Because like when they start playing that like those sad remembrance songs, and you start seeing like their childhood flashbacks, you're like, oh yeah, they're giving
like
me
I remember watching the first season. I was surprised that what's his face didn't die. Gene or John, whatever you want to call him, the one that's always fighting with Aaron.
Yep. Yeah, I got it.
I'm surprised that he made it as far as he did.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it isn't a show that does that where you can predict everything. It's just certain things I was able to predict just because of the tropes that exist within anime. But I'll give them one thing. There are certain moments where they won't allude to anything. And, you'll see someone come in, they'll be a badass, and then all of a sudden, like within that episode or the next episode, they'll be taken out. Whoa.
I would just if anybody ever goes to watch Attack on Titan season 1, just pay attention to everything, like literally everything, because a lot of that plays a huge part into season 2.
And speaking of which, that's an excellent segue. Let's get on to season 2. So we said season 1 is the genesis, and it focuses on Aaron and his journey, and Misha, and of course, me. Yeah, you know me and my amazing abilities. And Armin. Then this season, to me, really.
Wait. Before we get into it, I want to just give a little like history background. It took 4 years for season 2 to come out.
Damn.
Because it's a small studio. They didn't have like funds for it like that. Like they were still like the dude that created this didn't expect it to get that much popularity, you know. So they started doing all these
that makes sense too, bro, because in Japan they pop out animes like it ain't nothing.
Yeah, that's mostly like Shonen Jump, but like with studios, this is their like first anime that they ever done. So it's like it's a very small studio, and it took some time, and they were just they didn't have certain things ready for the manga. They were already like ahead of the anime and stuff. They were just taking their time, which and season 2 is probably the most controversial, just because a lot of people were kind of upset that you waited 4 years for 12 episodes, but those 12 episodes I felt like were very crucial to the overall story, and the reveals that they have are just insane. When you talk about greatest anime portrayals of all time. In
Oh
season in
yeah.
season 2 of Attack on Titan, that takes the cake.
Hey,
But yeah,
how did Attack of the Titans get popular in the States? Was it because it was shown on Toonami?
I'm not. I don't think they started showing that on Toonami till like af like around like 2015, 2016 or something like that. But it's just that hiatus. It was just the buzz just kept going. People were just like, all right, fuck this. I ain't gonna wait for the anime to come back. They just hopped into the manga, and I think with the manga, it helped it grow its fan base, and it just literally it just blew up. And the one dude, like I said, that created it and whatnot, that you know he wasn't expecting it to be that big, but that's just like, I just wanted to put that out there. Like, how many shows do you know, like after their first season, took like 4 years off and came back and like had an even bigger following? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. It don't happen.
Not in this day and age.
Because
they
people
are
are expecting, because like that, and especially in anime, like after the first season, you're expecting the buzz to die off, but it did.
The
It
only
just
show I could think in the States that did something like that as a cartoon was Family Guy.
Yeah, that was a show that got canceled and brought back.
It got brought back because it got popular on Cartoon Network.
Yep. And the DVD sales.
Yeah.
And the animation style, like it was so worth it for me, because like the animation and just the style completely changed. Like, it's just, and I think that's also what took so long too, is to get the animation right, because what Wit Studios does, like, these dudes are godlike when they animate. It's just they'll put like little detail, like fine details into certain things in the background and stuff. Like, if you see
Yeah.
like if you see
And
a
see,
barrel break, if you see like a barrel breaking, you'll see all the little particles. I was like, yo, who
yeah,
has time to draw all of that?
Perp. But Perp, that's why I can't even, like, with me, I got ADD bad. When it comes to a lot of American TV shows and movies, I can never finish them. But when it comes to Japanese anime, you can tell that the creators put so much love and
Mhm.
time and work into this stuff, man. And I can't get enough of it. I'm probably gonna mess around and catch a seizure because I be binging so much on anime sometimes. Like this Saturday, last Saturday, man, I watched so much anime, I thought I was hallucinating when I turned the TV off.
Well, then you definitely have come to the right discussion. Yeah, man, and that's why too I started this, because I know Perp's been on the late night talks and we joke around. It was like, oh, he's gonna bring up anime, but I'm a big fan too. I have been for a long time, and I've been a fan of Japanese culture in general, and just
Me too.
is just different, and martial artists. So I was always like deep into the cultures and mythologies and things like that.
Yeah.
So anime was just a natural hop, skip, and jump for me. But I feel like most people who are looking to alternatives, like, look, get off Disney's dick. They ain't coming out with anything that you're gonna want to watch. Okay, get off the Disney hype train and come jump on the anime train. That's why I started this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Disney's putting out trash right now. I'm just gonna keep it 100. They aren't even animating anything anymore. They're just going all CGI.
People can't even draw hair. You can't even draw hair right.
So, I mean, but yeah, we got a little bit off topic. So, getting into season 2. If season 1 dealt with the perspective of a soldier, I think season 2 deals with the other side and with the Titans. Like you said, there's very big betrayals in this season, very big revelations, and it's great world building as well, because you start to understand more about the world of the Titans. And it's interesting because there's a lot of dialogue in here that leads you, and almost when a big turn happens and certain people betray other people. I'm not going to give it away because it's the biggest moment of the season. So if you're going to watch it, I don't want to give you too much. I just want you to watch it and be shocked. But I will say, when that pivot happens, at first you hate these particular people. But then when you hear the dialogue they have on certain scenes, because, you know, battles happen, they're injured and they're recovering, and there's a whole great, what is it, for like 2 or 3 episodes where they're dialoguing, and it makes it
explaining themselves.
Yeah, and explaining themselves. They are people who essentially did stuff on both ends, and their motives is that they're tired, and a part of me could understand where they're coming from. And I think it's great of a show if you can make your protagonist in a sense sympathetic, especially in a setting like this, because when you come from season 1, they purposely get you in a mold that Titans are evil, you know, they're mindless creatures, and then you find out that there's people who have the power, and then you start to see there's a human element to this battle on their side too, and that both sides have similar goals, and they're both tired of the way things are. But yet, you know, by what's going on, they're locked in this struggle, almost like, it's almost like it just keeps on going, you know? It's like a never-ending thing.
Yeah, they're like real fucked up in the head. Like they don't know what to do. and for season 2, they really tone back like the action. Like there are action scenes, but it's mostly a lot of exposition, a lot of just dialogue and stuff. Like, and I think that's why it gets like a bad rap. But when you look back at it, it's very crucial to like the overall story. Like the certain things that they show off with, you know, with like Historia and whatnot, and that aspect, and just everything, all the reveals. Like I think that, like I said, like how you said, season 2 was just mainly about the reveals and just building the lore more and giving you more explanation on everything that's going around, what's going on around them.
And here's another thing too. People have lost the art of enjoying world building and the dialogue. I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan, as everyone would know if they've heard me. I love Quentin Tarantino. And one thing I love about Quentin Tarantino is you can watch one of his films and he can literally have like 20 minutes of dialogue. Yeah. But you're in it because it is so witty and sharp and engaging that it almost feels like the action within itself. Because you know that you know what I mean? You know the talk is leading to something.
Yeah.
And it's building that tension. And I think that's what this second season was about. The talking, the dialogue builds the tension and the uneasiness of the world.
That's what make a good movie or a good show. Just think about back in the caveman days when they sat around the fire and was just saying good stories. That's just inside of us human beings. If you got a good story attached to it, we watching it or we listening to it. You know what I mean?
And Fatal, that's an excellent point that you bring that up, because dialogue, I feel like, has been lost. Okay, let's put it in perspective of if you watch a movie now, right? How many of us have gone and seen movies with just a bunch of mindless action, right? They throw in some CGI flair and they treat you like an idiot. They don't let people let their imaginations captivate them like this show does, right? They throw stuff at you because they feel like the people watching are idiots. And I hate when a movie or a show does that to me. I hate it. I hate when they treat me like a moron and then I need to be fed a big explosion.
Right. And that's why I think a lot of people don't really like, at least a lot of new anime, like the younger crowd, like they're into the glitz and the glam and like the explosions, and they want more action and less talking. Like you know, like
Pokemon.
or like Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? That's funny you said that because Dragon Ball Super looks spectacular, but I still love GT better. I mean, not GT. I'm sorry, that was blasphemy. I love Dragon Ball Z better.
Yeah, because
I don't think
it
anything.
was more story driven.
Yeah, good villains, good characters,
Hmm.
That was
but
probably DBZ's high point.
yeah, with the Frieza saga, the
Oh,
free, the Frieza saga and the Cell saga is can't nothing beat that.
oh yeah, yeah, most
And and that,
definitely.
and that's why I like Attack on Titan because it's bringing back that just story driven narrative. Like a Bleach, like a even like Naruto. It's very much now. You do get a lot of like shit anime put out today. But starting to see a lot more quality anime come out, like Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga. The same people that made Attack on Titan is doing Vinland Saga, so that's their like next series. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
Perk, did
Um,
you like the Bleach live action on Netflix?
I liked it. It was cool.
I gotta say, I'm a huge diehard Bleach fan. I'm one of them people
Yes.
who are trolling them to bring it back and redo Blood Wars. All right, I'm one of those guys, and I gotta say, so when I went into that Netflix joint, I was like, oh man, if they mess this up, I'm going down to Netflix. I'm going to their headquarters, and they're gonna hear from me, right? And I watched it, and I go, all right, Netflix, don't put out another Death Note. Do
Ju-
this.
and it's not just a little side note before we get back into it. If you are like a Star Wars fan, you would like Bleach a lot because there are some similarities. Doesn't take place in space or anything like that, but it's more grounded. But
Yeah, I like Bleach.
imagine if Star Wars you've seen a Star Wars movie of Force Ghost versus like Sith spirits or something like that. It's pretty much like what Bleach is.
But getting back to it, so the second season is dialogue driven, and there's a lot of betrayals. But here's the thing that it is great about the season is that you get the other side's perspective. And now the interesting thing that they do with this season is they make the protagonist question a lot about what he feels towards this battle. And they don't really highlight how right in the craziness of these villains, and I'm doing air quotes, there is stuff you see in season 3 where you go, oh shit, they might have actually had a point. Because that's why we say everything you watch, keep it in the back of your mind, because it does come up later. And so when you're watching the third season, you can think back to a conversation in the second season in particular they have, and you go, oh, they weren't wrong. Maybe how they went about things was wrong.
And what was really good, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what was really like interesting about this show is a lot of the main characters take like not necessarily what's the word I'm looking for, like they're not put off to the side, but they give a lot of the side characters more screen time.
I noticed that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's interesting.
It's kind of like Naruto, man.
Yeah.
Everybody is dope in that.
Mm-hmm. Everybody gets a little backstory, and you get a little.
Like my boy in Naruto, everyone's on like Naruto and Sasuke. I'm a Gaara fan, and Neji. Everyone always looks at me and like, why Neji? Neji is a badass. I'm sorry.
I mean, Neji's alright. Neji's alright. He's not fucking with Brock Lee though, man.
Oh, I like Brock. Okay, I'm conflicted because I do like Brock Lee. He reminds me a lot of Bruce Lee. And my name.
He's literally Bruce Lee. He's literally like.
But I gotta say though, he still ain't touching Neji, man. 8 palm Trigon 60 or 8 palm 64 Trigon thingy. That shit is off the hook. All right.
Well, y'all, I'm different from y'all. I'm a Kakashi type of man.
You like Kakashi stuff.
Yeah,
I
he
like
dope,
Gara
man.
though. Gara is still my
Have
favorite.
we ever
Next to,
seen it? We still haven't seen his face. That long
I
running
think they
joke.
should. I think they
They
showed it
showed
when
it. Yeah, they showed
like
it on one
it was like
episode.
a it was like a filler or something like that, like showing him how he came to be and all that. And I think it was in Shippuden.
Yeah, I gotta go back to Shippuden because it's been a while. But I like
Mhm.
it, and because he's just one of those characters that's so elusive. I just automatically put that thing over his face when I'm thinking about him. I'm like, damn. Even if I seen it, because they show it so quick, I can't remember what his face looks like.
Yeah.
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 But for you, without giving anything away, because this is the non-spoiler section, and then we'll go into spoilers. What was a highlight from the second season?
Oh, that's a spoiler.
Oh.
but I will say one that like it's not really a spoiler. I would just say like just the I would say everything that with like Historia, like and finding out
Yeah.
that finding out that she's like royal blood and shit, like that was pretty dope.
Yes, that was interesting.
Or
Because
should I say Krista? When you see her, her name is Krista, but then her real name's like Historia, or it could be the other way around. Get mixed up. Whatever.
no, you're right. Because I just, like I told you, I'm still red-eyed from my like binge on Attack on Titan before we started. Like I literally binged the show 2 days in a row to catch up for this talk. I haven't slept but 2 hours. I'm gonna sleep a long time tonight. Thank God we're not doing a late show because I'd be passing out while I was talking. I'd probably fall asleep on air. So,
Yeah, but yeah, that was my favorite moment. Not like another one of my favorite moments was with the whole Historia thing. You know what I'm saying? But my next one, if we'll talk about it in spoilers, that I'll wait.
okay. Fatal, I know you haven't seen this season. So
I want to
yeah,
ask y'all a question though. How many seasons Attack of the Titans?
3 so far.
There's
And then
there's there's 3. So like season 1 is 25 episodes, season 2 is 12, and then season 3 is like 21. I think
So
21 or 20.
you saying out of all 3, season 2 is the reigning champ?
No.
no.
I'm saying it's just very crucial to the overall story. But yeah, season 3 is still the best.
I'm gonna try to binge watch, man, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Season 2 and 3.
I can tell you it's possible, but you're gonna be tired afterwards.
Just do like the free trial off of like Crunchyroll, Funimation, and just use up those 6 or 7 days.
But I mean, I got Netflix. It's not on Netflix anymore.
I mean, I don't know if they have. I think they still only have season 1, which is weird. I don't know if
okay.
I don't know if they have season 2 up.
I'm gonna tell you what's weird too. They got One Punch Man on there, and it's only
Yeah.
the sub version. It's not the dub.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Netflix just like dropping the ball with that shit. Like I don't get that shit at all.
Man, the way it's looking, it won't be a Netflix in a few more years.
Nah, we had a discussion on that, but I don't want to go down that one. That'll be a talk for another day. But nah, they're all right. Don't believe the hype. They're gonna be around for a long time.
Yeah, because they started. You right, Zod, because they started the streaming stuff, man.
Yeah, they like to, because Disney is coming out. You know how people are always on Disney, riding that mouse. I'll leave it at that.
Riding their balls, man.
I'm trying to be PG here, but yeah. Don't believe the hype. It's all Disney spin. They our domestic numbers are different, but if you look at the foreign numbers, they aren't hurting at all. They're gaining people left and right like they have always been. It's just media spin. either way, I think Netflix has gone a lot left, and Disney, I'm not giving any money to, so no one wins in my mind. No, Amazon wins. Go watch Amazon. Watch The Boys. It'll change your life. That's all I'm gonna say.
Meh. The meh.
But yeah, so I'd have to say for me, I can't say my first one because I think you and me both like the same highlight. But I can say my second thing was I'd have to say finding out more about side characters. Like
Okay.
they dive deep, especially that bald-headed one. I forget his name.
Yeah,
When
he
he
was
went-
like he's one of like the commanders and stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like the reveals we find out about that. But yeah, I'd have to say we're probably on the same scene. And
We completely forgot to mention this, but they always teased the basement. What is in the basement? What is in Aaron's dad's basement? Like that was like a huge goal, like a huge plot point going forward. Like, what is this mystery thing in the basement? Are we gonna find like human experiments and whatnot? But you get that very
Hey, not to interrupt y'all, but drunk 3PO. Yes, I didn't steal your bike. I stole your mic. Can't you see it?
Drunk, welcome, Drunk. Good to have you in my chat. And one day I will get Drunk on here.
Got some heavy hitters in the chat. That's what's up.
Yep. One day I'm gonna get them on the metaphorical couch for a fandom talks. And that sounded really bad. Never mind.
Yeah. Pause. You're lucky PB's not here.
PB would be like, "What the hell, Zod? You're talking about acquiring people, now you're talking about getting people on your couch. What's going on here?"
That's funny.
So, but yeah, let me just say though, that was a big thing. So now we're gonna get into the spoilers because I want to talk about our favorite stuff. I'm gonna put the spoilers banner on. So,
and if you don't want to be spoiled, leave now. If you don't care, I don't care.
You got 5 seconds to leave. If you don't leave in 5 seconds, you're good.
And also, if you are replaying this, every time I say spoiler, just skip past a little bit and we'll be done with them. I will timestamp things as soon as I figure out how to timestamp things. I'm still learning the YouTube thing. Anyways, so let's jump into the spoilers. Go ahead, because I think your reveal will be along the mine.
Bro, when you find out who the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan is, like it literally blew my mind. I was like, it was them motherfuckers the whole time. Like, yo, it hits you like a ton of bricks because then you go back to the first season and they allude to it, like they make hints of it because you never see these certain characters in season 1 in specific scenes, and they're missing, and they just go somewhere. And when you find out that Bertel and Reiner are the Armored and Colossal Titan, oh my god! Even the way that they shot that, or like they drew that, where they're sitting on top of the wall and just everything goes quiet, and they knew what was up. They just wanted to catch. They had to catch them at a certain time, and you see that like the atmosphere, just everything literally goes quiet. You literally hear a flag just drop, and just everybody's on edge. Even Mikasa's ready just to go, and just she knows what's up. And it's just the way that they revealed it. It was all nonchalant, like they're talking to Eren, and all of a sudden Reiner just be like, "Yeah, I'm the Armor Titan. and Bertolt is the Colossal Titan. You're like, what? You just gonna say it like that? Like it's no biggie, and that just sets off a whole nother set of beef between them and just the other scouts and stuff. It's just, oh my god, that is one of the greatest anime portrayals of all fucking time. Like, just the way that.
And here's the thing about these things that you find out. It is for me, it was earth-shattering and heartbreaking because these people have literally helped out at certain point and saved people's lives. So you got that that confusion. Your feelings is in different directions. You don't know what to think or what to do with yourself. Your whole world has changed. Nah, no, but like it hit me on multiple levels because I was like, I like those characters. And
I had to run that shit back multiple times. It's like, yo, he didn't just say that.
It's about delivery, and I think that's another thing with this show. Like, you've got some big reveals where they do the whole television show thing where it's dramatic music and they're setting the stage and you're like, oh, things are getting tense, and then you got shit like that where it's just like, bam, by the way, blah 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 blah, and you're like, well, wait, what? Pause, line.
Because they literally kill off all the background noise. You can't hear nothing. You literally just hear that one flag just drop, and the way that shit dropped is perfect. It's like it's just the tension was there. Like you could just see it. It's fuck, man. I'm about to go back and watch that shit again. That shit is
But
so amazing.
Anime always do stuff like that. It's just you wait for something and then they just randomly drop it. I think that's a Japanese thing, man.
Yeah,
like because like I said, like once you find out that you'll want to go back to the first season and just see like all the instances that they weren't there. And I don't know if you noticed this, because some people post it. Like if you noticed, like when Bertolt, like they have it. Like I'm gonna try to find this screenshot somewhere, but it's like a picture of him trying to bite himself, which I was like, oh shit. The whole it was before that episode though. So that kind of gave it away.
So there were clues. They did like what M. Night Shyamalan used to do.
Because even in the first season, if you listen to what Reiner, like all the dialogue that Reiner's been talking about, like how he's a warrior and all this shit, like it's just like, yo, the whole time they was just there with y'all for those first 5 years, like.
And the thing that makes this complex that I want to highlight of why this is such a good show is that it's one of those moments. It's kind of like in the vein of Breaking Bad, which I will argue with anyone is the greatest television series ever made. Come fight me.
Debatable.
I know what you're gonna say.
The Leftovers is the greatest show.
I knew that was coming, but we're talking two different genres.
The Leftovers on HBO.
Yeah.
That's another series I only seen the season 1.
Yeah, you gotta finish that. It's only 28 episodes.
Did they ever reveal what happened to him?
Well, the director that created Damon Lindelof came out earlier and said, like, don't expect like me to explain what happened to the people. It's because it's really not about that. You just gotta watch it. I'm not gonna spoil it.
So, anyways, so like the way that they set things up, it's like they do it in that kind of a fashion to where you really don't want to hate them until other things happen, because then they go full like dark side. But for a while there, you don't really want to hate them. And even when I was talking about dialogue that's being said and why dialogue is important, when you get into season 3, what they say in this season is more relevant and makes a lot of sense when you get to the revelations of 3, where you're like, thinking back to the conversation and going, you know, in that craziness.
Season 2 just scratches the surface. Just scratches a little bit.
In that craziness, you kind of get where they're coming from. And after like just finishing season 3 and then thinking back to that whole scene when they're talking, some of the points they brought up were true.
and you also see Eren trying to understand his power and his ability in this season. You know, because you know how when he go they make mention, I think they mentioned this in either the first or second, that he can only transform like 3 times. That's as much as his body is willing to let him do it. Like, so there's a limit to it. But like the first time he does it, he kind of fucks it up, and he just looks all fucked up. And it's sort of like if you fucked up the fusion dance. You either come out looking really skinny or like really fat. Like when Eren were to first transform and stuff, like on command, his shit be looking fucked up and whatnot. But they pretty much utilize him as like a tank in war and stuff. They're like, all right, we can use him to fight these other Titans and whatnot. And that's the only reason why they're keeping him alive, pretty much.
And you get to the point where in their dialogue, they talk about being weapons, being these vicious things, and that people are using them. But in both senses, they're being used for the purposes of war. And it gives a deeper dialogue because you start to see that these things you think are bad, the evil, they're, you know, everyone is being manipulated. Like, you know, everyone has an agenda and everyone has a motive, and it's like real life, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about, especially from Eren's side, they don't even hide that. They're like, oh yeah, we could use you for war, you know, right off the jump. That's like established in season 1. They're like, what can you do to help us win? And then it gives you a new perspective, like being a weapon and having this kind of power, this kind of ability. How would that look? And through these characters that have done terrible things, with their suits, you see that you get a glimpse of what happens when you have this power for as long as you do. And I mean, just think about it. When you see that Colossus Titan in the first episode, what would any of us do if we had that kind of power, right? You know, what would that look like? How would that change you if you were literally an invincible beast?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna rob a whole bunch of banks.
Be easy as hell.
He'd be the richest. You see a Titan with like gold chains.
Let me talk about. Speaking about reveals, we get by the end of it, we get the introduction of one of my favorite Titans, is the Beast Titan, and the way they introduce him is so dope. It's like they look at him when they see him, they're like, "Oh, it's just another abnormal Titan. It's nothing." But then he throws a horse at these motherfuckers. Like,
I seen that one, man.
That shit is crazy. And then come to find out, this motherfucker could talk. So like, this is the first time you're hearing like Titans talk and whatnot. That blew my mind. The Beast Titan. We'll get to who he is in season 3, but crazy.
And speaking of which, he's another one of them characters where, yeah, you could say he's evil, but I also understood a lot of his motivations.
He does some fucked up shit, especially the Grisha, but that's season 3 shit. So
yeah, but you know, season 2 definitely was exposition heavy, but I'll say I appreciated what they did, the reveals, how they how they delivered on things. So, you got any final thoughts before we move into season 3?
Final thoughts. Yeah, it's just incredible. Just continually just hitting us hard with great character development. Because going from season 1 to 2 is like a complete tone shift. Like the tone of the whole entire show changes, and it changes again with season 3. But you know, I love the reveals. I love just more. We get just more backstory on the Titans, and we still have those action scenes. Between certain characters, which I really like. And I really like how the Titans fight in this. Like, it's more of like a MMA type style. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna throw a blast at you. It's more hand-to-hand combat type shit.
Yeah.
Yep, I definitely I agree. There's a lot more physicality with this, and it's definitely it's definitely worth the watch. So catch up on 2 before you go into season 3. Oh boy, let me tell you, Perk. Let me tell you, when I got to season 3, I'm a Game of Thrones fan.
We're on season 3 now.
Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you.
I'm a Game of Thrones fan, and I gotta say that first half had me thinking hard about what Game of Thrones was. The political intrigue in this show and how they do the politics is great. And this season does something that I think I've heard a lot of people say the first half was kind of whatever, but I honestly like the first half the best because I came from the Game of Thrones side of things. And the way they set up the politics, these grimy motherfuckers. Let me tell you,
bro. Like the way they got the way that they got into power and stuff is crazy.
And when you're talking about tone shifts, you're going around thinking that this war is one-dimensional, that things are simple, and then when you add in the humans and the human element. Because, like I said, this show to me is broken off into sections. Like, if the first section is the soldier, the second season is the Titan, the third is the government, and the government. Oh, the government.
And I like that we got more of Captain Levi and his backstory, where he comes from, and with him and like Kenny, and Kenny's working for this government that's like trying to like completely overthrow the true heirs to the throne, which is like Historia and whatnot. And I love just like that shit. I've never seen a season open the way season 3 opens, or closes, I should say, because it starts off like a normal day, and then all of a sudden, the way like once the credits start rolling, you see you get introduced to Kenny, and he blasts some person in the face that was connected to that was part of Levi's squad, and you just see bodies dropping, and just all these people, and they have this they got their own different type of 3D maneuver gear and stuff like that. It was just so crazy. I've never seen no shit like that.
But I always got the hint that in the season 1 that the government was messed up.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, your instincts are right. You don't even know, Fatal. You don't even know the depths of how grimy by the time I got to the end of this season, I was on the Titan side. Like,
wow.
Well, let's be clear. We're talking about season 3, part 1 right now. Part 2.
So is season 3 complete?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just going into part 1, and then part 2 gets you back into they aren't a good option either. But for when I started finding out in part one some revelations that come about the government, Fatal, you gonna say, you know what? Just unleash the Titans and let God sort them out, because these dudes, man, oh,
Wow.
and
oh,
even stuff with like Aaron himself, and just like when they explain his abilities and what his father did. Yo,
oh,
his father is fucked up, but I understand what he had. But that gets explained in part two. But you know, he like the explanation on how Aaron got his powers is, essentially, what Aaron's father did is there's this is where they explain like the special titans, the ones with abilities and stuff. Like there's the founding titan, there's the attack titan, which Aaron has been he's had that for a while. Then you have the armor titan, the colossal titan, you got the beast titan, you got the car titan, or the cart titan. You got all these different titans, but like what Aaron's father did is essentially he was the original. He was a titan like Aaron was, but
Whoa.
he
You spoiling me hard now, man.
my bad, but like, I have to get into it.
It's all good, man. I walked into this.
Yeah, I gotta talk about it now, yo, because I've been holding this in for like so long. Like the fact that Aaron's father ate the founding titan, the original founding titan was like of royal blood, and that's like the OP. That's like one of the OP titans, and he ate her, so he was able to get her power, or get the founding titan's power, and that's how kind of things get passed along. You have to eat the another person to get that power, and stuff. It's very. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but it's pretty fucking mind blowing. But he essentially stole that power, then created like a serum, injected it into Aaron as a kid, and had Aaron eat, and Aaron ate his father, so that's how he got his powers.
Dang.
It was crazy. I've never. It's crazy.
Yeah, y'all want to see something funny?
what?
Read Lonely Banters in the chat.
Oh, when he said, of course, at Perp Mine would spoil.
No, read what he wrote before that.
Oh, why are y'all still talking about anime?
Because it's amazing. Stop hating.
Because you're on. I have a banner for this. No, but yeah, like when I found that out, so basically, in short terms, Fatal, they eat each other to gain power.
Yeah.
And
So
to keep the Titan power, it's kind of like just passing it down.
Yeah.
So your retirement plan sucks. You don't see any Titans playing like 9 holes.
So you said Aaron ate his dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how he was able to tap into the power, and
Because
that's
I
why
know
he
in season 1, they were injecting Aaron with something.
and then that means that he has the founding Titan,
Yeah.
and he has the attack Titan, because he does something in season 2, which like he's able to control, like with the founding Titan's powers, you're able to control other Titans. So like he has that power, and the attack Titan's just straight up just offensive and whatnot. But it was, when I saw that, I was like, and the look on Aaron's face, and going back to the whole politics thing and royal bloodlines, you had Historia's, like, what was it, her father or
Yeah.
her uncle or something like that, like got Aaron all chained up, and he pretty much wants to use Historia, and wants Historia to he was going to eject Historia with that serum, the Titan serum, and have her eat Aaron. but thank God she kind of just came to her senses. It's like, no, this is fucked up, and then he ends up just it ends up being a whole other thing. But I like that aspect also with the Levi and Kenny shit, and just the whole Ackerman. Like they explain like where the Ackermans come from and a little bit more of their backstory.
Also, too, in this, I believe it's part 2. So never mind, we're talking part 1. In part 1, there's a couple of things that happen that they have to address, but also the bigger thing is my man Levi. Let me dive into Levi. Levi's character gets explained, and you see who his mentor is, and he's fighting his mentor in this season. And let me tell you something. This dude is like, the best I describe him is like Jack the Ripper.
Or imagine like to put this in let's compare it to Star Wars. Imagine if Obi-Wan fought Qui-Gon.
Yeah. It's that kind of a dynamic, and it's really great because we're going back to the character development. Season 1, you kind of get introduced to that squad. Season 2, you find out a little bit more about them. You find out what Levi can do at the end of season 1, going into season 2, kind of what his code is, a little bit more about him, his relationship to the commander, yada yada yada. Season 3, you find out where he's come from, why he makes the decisions he makes, how exactly he feels about war, saving his teammates, things like that.
It makes sense for his. It makes sense for his personality too, because he was just like Kenny and stuff, like going around killing people and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean Levi ain't no joke. When you see,
Levi plays a huge role in season 3. Like bro, I can't wait to talk about part 2 because I'm gonna go all the way in on spoilers. I don't care.
We'll put the banner. We'll put the banner up, but so part 1 of season 3 is great. There's a lot more political intrigue, but when you get to the ending, the last couple of episodes, that's where the action hits, and the beginning too. Those first 2 or 3 episodes, you see something happens, and the crew that are the scouts get hunted by the government. And they explain through the course of the episodes what's going on, but we kind of start off in a weird place. I don't even forget the first episode because it had such a weird name until I got to the end of the episode, but it's called Signal. And you find out what that means by the end, but it was, I mean, like you were saying, there's a part at the end of the first episode where that chick gets blasted.
I was like, that's how y'all gonna end it, because it was so calm. It was so cool and calm, and then all of a sudden shit just goes left.
Yep. And you get right into that second episode. I'll tell you, the second episode was like, that's your big action point, because then there's a couple of episodes in the middle that are just like talking. But
because I liked how the first episode started off. It was like you started seeing like Levi kind of getting closer with the other people that are in his unit, and they even had like they start off having people clean they have them start cleaning like Levi's house and stuff. That shit was funny.
Yeah,
like, and then you jump right into this shit. Like, it's crazy.
So definitely worth the watch. End of part 1, you find out some big revelations. Some things go down, and then we're left in a place where power changes, and the royal family who rules at that time. Throughout the first part of the season, you find out who they are, what they're about. Some things go down, and let's just say by the end of it, power shifts. There's a coup, and power shifts, and people who deserve it definitely get it. And I say fuck them because that government system was grimy. And good for them. So now we're on to part 2. And I'm just going to put my banner up because I know Herb's going to get into it. So tell us, give us a synopsis of the second part to season 3.
Bro, I've never seen a show do this, but like, it was cool. The first part was cool. It got us a little political shit, and a lot of people bitching and complaining about like, where's the action? Well, here we get a whole part 2 of just straight up nonstop action. Every single episode was fucking fire in this second half, like back to back action fights with like just Aaron. Oh my god, just everything that they reveal. We get more backstory. Funny story. When they showed Grisha's backstory, that first episode they showed on Grisha's backstory, that came out on Father's Day, which was I don't know if that was on purpose, but I found that to be pretty ironic. But everything with Grisha and just they give you just more reveals, and they explain the Titans and how if pretty much if you're one of these Titan shifters, you have 13 years to live. So where Aaron's at now, he has like 7 years to live. I could talk about Armin. Armin actually ends up becoming the Colossal Titan, which was pretty dope. And I like the back and forth, like who they were choosing to bring back Erwin or Armin. It's just I just loved everything about part 2, man. Man, from the animation to just all the little minute details in the fight. And they didn't waste no time neither. They got right back into it. They took all the rest of the squad, I mean the scouts and stuff, and they went to war. And they're pretty much looking for Reiner and all them. And man, it was crazy. It was crazy. But I want to get your thoughts on season 3. I'll talk about it more though.
Season 3. Now, I love the politics, as you know, but man, like, I think it was just maybe the first episode had that decline where they're explaining what's her name takes place on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
But when Aaron kisses her hand and all of that is revealed, I said it's about to go down. And oh crap, like if the first part was set up, the second part was all movement. Because I swear to God, from that first episode all the way through was just non-stop, fast-paced. You barely catch your breath. The fights were spectacular. The reveals you get and the development in the characters. I liked Armin a lot, but not as I don't know how to put it.
I respected Armin way more, like for him like stepping out in his shadow, because he was always like a pacifist. In like season 3, the first part, like he catches his first body, and he realizes this is bigger than him, and that's why that hero episode is like so powerful, like that he was willing to make that sacrifice to buy time for Aaron.
Yeah, and you get to see more. You get to see more of that, and the fact that he gets the most, well, arguably, probably, yeah, I'd say one of the most powerful Titan forms, but he's also got brains too. So, it's a pretty interesting combination because the brainy people normally, they're how do I put it? They're mistaken for weak because they don't maybe have the physicality. So, but beyond that, they're smart as hell, so they can determine what's going to happen. Now he's both one of the strongest and smart too. That's a deadly combination. Like that makes me intrigued about the next season, given some things that happen.
And you get the reveal that who the Beast Titan is, and that's pretty much Aaron's half brother. And he's also he's royal blood. Well, partially royal blood and whatnot. And he does some grimy ass shit to his own father. Like how's he gonna dime out his own dad? Like that's some fuck shit. Like
oh yeah. There's some moments in here where you're like, damn man.
No, there's moments in there like where you're like, fuck. Like when Levi versus the Beast Titan, bro, that is literally my favorite fight I've ever seen in anime. And it's only like a minute.
Yeah, like Levi shows you skill. Yeah, that's another thing.
He goes God mode. He goes God mode. You see just going off on people. He's only done that that's been the third time because he's done it like at least once each season. No. Actually, he went God in season 2. He went off a little bit, but he really went off on the Beast Titan and shit. Like he fucked the Beast Titan up. He like.
And then you get that scene where you think it's over and he gets scooped up. But I mean, like they shoot a flare to disguise his thing, and then he jumps out of that smoke, and I say, damn, like this dude is so badass. He's wall running up the Titan's arm while using his blade to cut it, and then like spin around, and I'm like, it's like
he cuts him right out of the fucking right out of the Beast Titan. Like he just like
he's trying to pull him out.
He could have killed him right there, but he took a little bit too much time, and then the cart Titan popped up and shit.
Because anime, they can't kill off that guy yet. Like, well, no, I could argue they probably could have, but
Yeah, but it's just, and that was my favorite episode out of all of the season 3. Like you had Levi versus the Beast Titan. Then you had the rest of the scouts take out the Armored Titan, which was amazing. And then you had Eren take out the Colossal Titan. Like I've never seen in a show where in 20 minutes all the characters get a moment, like a crazy ass moment. Like shit's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the amazing part. This show is only 20 minutes if you take out the beginning credits and the end credits.
Yeah.
It's a 20-minute block, which means you're essentially, for a long battle, you're giving them like 5 minutes. So you got to do that much in 5-minute increments.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's when you think about that.
Because what, you're right. When you think about it, the intros to anime and the outros to anime are long as fuck.
But they're also they also tell you, most of them tell you what's going on in the whole, like what's going to be going on in the season. Like if you remember the first opening to season 3, Zod, the Red Swan shit. If you pay attention to that and you just see how, because that's how Eren is now. Like how I said, his character has completely changed. Like he's not this, he's not the same kid that you saw in the first season. Like this Titan power kind of like kills off your emotions kind of a little bit, and I want to touch on another thing where I don't know if you could consider this a type of time travel, because I've always looked at it that way, is how Eren is able to see his father's memory, and then Eren Kruger, that dude is dope. Where you find out where the Attack Titan came from, how he told Grisha to eat him, or he told Grisha to eat him, so he could continue this fight because he was getting old. But that Aaron Kruger is dope though. I know he has more. They touch they explain him a little bit more in the manga, but for what they show, how they introduce him, like you see all those people getting kicked off the ledge and stuff, and you see the creation of the Titans, and because they have that serum that turns them into Titans. Because come to find out, you know, there are these whole race of people. They're called Eldians. That's who the Titans are and stuff. They're like, and there's these whole different backstories on them, and they're depicted as devils and like the original um Titan made a deal. No, the original what was it Ymir? What I forget how to pronounce it and whatever. Ymir made a deal with the devil, and that's why they turned to Titans and stuff. That's the propaganda that the people of Marley. Now I know I'm going all over the place, but to explain the people of Marley, like they live separate from the people that are beyond the wall. The people behind the wall, Jay, this is gonna blow your mind, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
People that are behind the wall, the people behind the wall are on an island. The real world, there's a whole big patch of land on the other side of that island,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much people like aliens getting sent to this island. So essentially, the whole time they've been killing themselves, like Eldians been killing Eldians and stuff and whatnot, and they're just being cast out. And
That's
the people of Marley, that because what they find in the basement, that they find this photograph, and they're like, how is this possible? There's no photography over here, and coming to find out, things are so advanced on the other side. Like people have those like blimps that you see in like World War II and stuff. They have those riding
yeah.
around and stuff, and just people actually are living good. And Reiner makes note of that, like, yo, we used to live good, and like over here it's just like hell. And it is pretty much it's pretty much like a prison for the aliens, like the people that are stuck behind this wall. And
Man, that's crazy.
it goes so deeper than that. And then that's why I said you can kind of compare it to like Nazi Germany, where if you were an Eldian in Marley, you had to wear these little wristband things, whatever, these little armbands to let you know, like, yeah, you're an Eldian and whatnot. And the people of
But the
Marley don't.
alien, but the aliens, that's the Titans, right?
Yeah, those are like a race of people.
Okay.
Eldians, yeah, they're like a whole race of people, but and even that is kind of like we don't know the true backstory of that yet, but there's two kind of sides. There's like the Marley propaganda, like where these people are demons. They go into a whole bunch of explanation about it, but like Grisha gets, and there's like this resistance group led by the Owl, which ends up being Aaron Kruger, and he pretty much recruits Grisha, because at this time, like, people are getting kicked off this ledge and being turned. Oh, here's the kicker, right? Fatal J. Do you remember the first season, the first episode of the first season when Aaron's mother got
Yeah.
eaten? Do you know that Titan that ate Aaron's mother was pretty much his stepmother?
Damn. Now that's trippy.
Because when Grisha had gotten into a relationship with one of the Royal Bloods, that's why he had Aaron has a half brother named Zeke, which ends up becoming the Beast Titan.
Yeah.
And I remember Grisha and the chick got to talking. I forget her name. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, but they get to talking, and she's always telling Grisha, like, I'll always find you no matter where you're at. So it's funny how he goes to Aaron's house. It's just, oh man, that shit blew my mind when I found that out. I was like,
Man.
yo,
I got a lot of homework to do, man.
Yeah, bro, it's
Cause
crazy.
y'all making this sound good.
I gotta say, when Perp was hyping it up and compared it to Game of Thrones, I got nah, you might be getting crazy. Maybe better than season 8, but the other seasons. But yo, I
Don't-
watched it. Man, when they start getting deep into it, you're like, man, this actually might be better.
Okay, Zod, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan too, from season 1 through season 7. So you mean to tell me that this show rivals Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah,
There's a
I put it right up
there's
there.
a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason why if you go on IMDb and whatever the fuck it's called,
Yeah.
like they'll have a list of like the top like shows on television, whatever. There's two episodes of Attack on Titan that's over like the season 8 shit. Like they have like 2 Attack on Titan episodes at number 1 and 2. Then they have Game of Thrones, like I think 2 other Game of Thrones and something else underneath it. There's a reason for that.
Man, I'm gonna have to catch up, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Just like and you know, you can DM me too. We'll talk about it. But when you get to that first part of season 3 and you get into the political stuff, tell me you don't have flashbacks of what Game of Thrones was, because the politics that they do is like I was watching going, I now see what Perp was talking about, because you got to see it. Because when you see the way that they set up, you would think you were watching Game of Thrones in an animated form.
Well, you know, I used to watch Perp. I would see Perp in the chats, and he will always mention Attack on the Clones. And I'm like, my boy must be a fanboy or something. But I just listened to him this whole time, and I'm like, damn, this got a lot of plot twists and good story. And that's what I'm all about, and I want to check it out, man.
Yeah,
it's really insane. Like I like think about it, and it come to find out, like, you know, the final season's coming up, and people that have read the manga are saying like people are not even ready for what's about to happen. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Because like like I said, a lot of reveals, you get a lot of backstory on Grisha and just how the real world is and who the real enemy is, and it's just, oh my god.
Yeah, like even the reveals for season 3, when I found out this stuff that Perp found out, and like I was like, I thought it was so interesting, because when you get to when they explain what's going on, you find out there's actually like people like us, like our timeline kind of a deal.
Wow.
But you've been led to believe that it's actually mankind reverted, and you find out, nah, man, they're just like Castaway.
Man, that's trippy, man.
I was just like,
it's fucked up.
The layers.
So fucked up.
Because when I'm watching season 1, I'm thinking this is like a futuristic but post-apocalyptic type story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you saying that the story takes place in this time?
No. It's the fact that like you're right to think that with the first season, but it's just when you come to find out that there's people that are living better than us on the other side of this this body of water, and like they're just literally like stuck on this island.
Yeah, you could say it is modernized on this island, just from what I gather.
Mm-hmm.
Not to the point of like, you know, they got internet or whatever. I don't know. I haven't gone that far, but it's like they got photographs and stuff like that. But when you're watching the first season and on, you're thinking we're back in Writing Horse days.
Right.
And that's not the case. So then you're like, what is going on?
And you find out that like the Marley people over there, they use Titans just like kind of differently. Like they would put them in the front lines and stuff, and you know there's all these prophecies and all this stuff, and
So
it's crazy.
yeah, so this battle that they're actually fighting now, that you're seeing now, is
It's the
almost
real
like a
shit.
war. Yeah, it's a war with each other, but it's not what the war really is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost like
And it's like I meant I just see that you mentioned it in the DM when I was talking to you in the DM, saw that like they finally got to see the sea, and that was like a big thing that they set up in the first season. Like Armin and uh Aaron will always talk about, oh, they always wanted to see the ocean, and they finally do. And the only one that's just like not even happy or just non like he has no real expression about it because of the Titan powers and stuff. Like he points to like where Marley is. He's like our true enemy lies over there. We can't really do nothing until they're all dead, and it's sad. It's crazy because he's
yeah,
like Aaron knows now he has to kill way more people.
and this is the crazy part. You think by the end of the season that they've won the battle that they've been meaning to win, and then you get a revelation that they're not actually fighting the real war. They haven't been fighting the real war. The war is on the other side this whole
Right.
time. They were
That's
fighting
crazy.
to unite to get to the fact that there's actually another place that's forced them into this life. Because you now on this other side, you've had families come and go, people raised, and they haven't known the whole story. And the battle has actually been them battling for a truth that's been lost.
Man, that's crazy, man. That sound like the movie. I think it was called The Maze. Remember? Have y'all seen that movie where that boy was
Maze Runner?
the Maze?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sound like the Maze Runner, man.
Yeah, where like
That dude
you
would be a
start
dope Aaron if they were ever to do a live action like westernized Attack on Titan. They should get that dude. That was
yeah,
amazing.
I could see him as an Aaron. But yeah, like when you get there and you find out, like, damn man, the battle this whole time, the battle I've been watching ain't even the war that I think it is. There's a greater battle. And all of these people have been fighting and dying, and
And,
they
and,
ain't
and,
even fighting for their home.
Yeah.
let's make note of this too, that there are 9 um Titans with special abilities, and we only got to see like 8 up until this point. There's still a couple. I think it was we've seen either 7 or 8 of them, but there's 9 altogether, and
When
I'm
they
assuming
drop in
that
season 4?
uh next year in the fall.
Good. I can catch
What
up
So
in
one?
time.
yeah, you got plenty of time to catch up. Plenty of time.
Okay, good.
I'll say I did it in 2 days. Don't do that.
Nah, man. I'm gonna have
Take
to
your
probably.
time with it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do 2 or 3 a day, maybe. Do it like
Yeah,
that,
yo,
man.
But
yeah,
yeah,
man.
I
Like
mean,
I've been waiting to talk about this with somebody for like the longest, yo, because it's just like, what did I just watch? Like,
yeah,
it's
Perp, I feel you. When I got to that, and like, here's the hallmark of a good show. When you get to this and you realize, you come to the revelation that the whole time, like, they've been doing this world building. They've been like introducing these characters, explaining backstories, and you're invested in this one war. And then they wrap it up, and you're like, well, what's going on? But then you find out, oh no, they've just been fighting for something that isn't the goal. The actual goal, the actual battle has been over here the whole time. They've been keeping you guys busy. They've been keeping you distracted, fighting amongst yourself. But that isn't the real battle.
and you know what was interesting about that whole like part 2 is when Zeke finally sees Aaron, and he's like, one day I'll come and save you from this place. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
And then like it all makes sense now. It's just, and it's just they tying everything. This is why I said the first, like, these season 1, 2, and 3 are so perfect, because everything has relevance and just makes sense, and everything's coming full circle. Now we can get to the real meat and potatoes and get to the finale.
And I gotta say, this is how writing should be done, because when I think about this, Fatal, in relation to Game of Thrones, all right, here's my overall problem, and I've talked about this with PB here on the channel, and we beat this dead horse, but I think it's very relevant to what this show does different than what they did with Game of Thrones. When you get to season 8, it feels like there's no point. You followed the show 7 years, and the big question is supposed to be, when you get to the end of the show, what does it all mean, right? It builds up to what the meaning is, but where Dumb and Dumber messed up is they didn't give us a meaning. They said, they said, you've invested so many years and it means nothing, basically, is what they said, because they put on a stupid king. Character storylines didn't get resolved the way they should. They rushed others, and you don't get that finality. With this, you could tell, even with them ending at this point, they could have probably ended at this season.
I would have been fine with that. I would just read the manga.
Yeah, they could have probably ended with this season, but they resolved the issues, but yet they left this one thin thread where you're like, then they drop it on you. Nah, there's more. There's one more war. This is, you find out what it all means, but then you're like, well, then how do they get back? For me, they keep going.
For me, I'm like just watch the anime. I don't get into the manga, but I see, like, I've seen certain titles of certain YouTubers that talk about Attack on Titan, the manga, that like they have this theory that Eren might just be the final villain of it all and whatnot, which would be really interesting. I could see that.
Yeah.
With so many plot twists you guys don't say, it might end up like that.
Like this show, they do finely crafted plot twists where it really makes me sad now. And you'll see what I mean, Fatal, when you watch it. You'd be like, damn, this is where Game of Thrones should have gone. That's the biggest thing that pissed me off watching this when I'm thinking back about Game of Thrones, because you had that potential in the beginning of the show.
They did,
They had that strong base. They had the build-up. It could have been something massively profound. And with this show, they deliver on all fronts. And they make you want to know what the meaning is. And they tell you there is a point. And you feel like they are leading you to what the point is.
Like when you find out what happened to Marco, they go back to season 1. Like they give you a flashback going to season 1 and what they did to Marco, and they like pretty much like Reiner and Bertolt and fucking Annie pretty much fed him to like the because he found out early. He was actually the first one to find out that who they were and stuff, because the flashback, like Bertolt and Reiner are talking, and he's like, yo, hopefully nobody finds out that we're the Titans and shit that everybody's looking for. And Marco's right behind them. He's like, yeah, and they're just looking at him like, you better not tell nobody, but they already know they have to kill him. And you see another emotion to Annie where, like, in the first season, you think she's just like this, like, stone cold, heartless bitch, but she's really not. She doesn't, it was all just a front and whatnot. And she really.
See, Lonely makes me want to do an episode of Michelle about him in season 8.
Yeah, he like that trash. That's crazy.
But Game of Thrones season 8 was so great. They spent time talking about it instead of anime.
Hey man, you find me one Game of Thrones episode better than the Hero episode. I'll wait.
See, man, that's the type of stuff you make me want to watch it now, man. If you can say it's better than Game of Thrones, man, I gotta rock with it.
Yeah,
and it's only 3 seasons.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot
then,
of stuff.
and what I like about it, it's only 20 minutes long. If you take out
Right.
the intros and the outros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff where you see he put got a whole season of reviews. Go for it. LB. I love LB. And if you guys are go and check out his channel, he's got some great videos. Go check out his hilarious video because of when he did a video on the Galaxy's Edge and talking about that, and that one author who was writing about the Joker trailer. I was dying. This radical SJW. Oh my god, like the stuff he was saying. I'm just like, man, you reading too much into it, man. It's a trailer. Calm down. But no, I mean, yeah, when you think about like how other shows do their wrap-ups, and then you see this and you see how they resolve things, but they keep things waiting. That's just good television. And you know, I like the fact that you don't have to wait too long to get revelations. And when you get one revelation, there's not just the revelation, but there's a bunch of more questions. It's like answering a question with a question. You know, you got your answer, but then you're like, well, what does this mean? So let's get to our final thoughts and some theories on season 4, and then we'll wrap it up. I'll start with the foremost expert, I'm going to say, of Attack on Titan. Perp, what is your theories going into the last season?
Well, if you could tell by the picture that you see on the screen, this is obviously what he's going to look like. So there's going to be a pretty significant time jump, or probably later on in the season. But like, there's supposed to be like a time jump, but yeah, I think because for me, Attack on Titan is the perfect blend of story and action, and I think they're going to really show it in this final season. And I loved how they showed it, like, you know, right before the last episode of season 3 showed, they had a little teaser. They literally just showed you a picture of Eren, and then like it was like, it looked like he was behind bars, and you know, it just shows you coming 2020. You see they have all different gear and stuff. Like the blades look different. Their uniforms are different, and just yeah, it's gonna get wild. We're gonna definitely see more Titans, more bloodshed. And, bro, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. That's all I can say.
Can't wait
Do you think that they're going to do a plot twist where Eren is actually indeed going to be the villain?
It could be it's a possibility. It's a very possible, because like when I remember before I even got to this part, because I had a friend that only read the manga, and he told me, he's like, there's really no heroes in this story.
Yeah, and everyone becomes a villain.
Not necessarily, like, everybody just has their own selfish motives. And, you know, there's not a true, like, hero in this whole grand scheme of things. It's just, you know,
kind of like Game of Thrones.
Eren has all the memories of, like, his father and Eren Kruger and stuff, so like, you know, and people that have had these Titan powers, so it's just like he's kind of he doesn't got first, he has only 7 years left to live, so after those 7 years he's pretty much dead, so he's gonna die. Man, I can't wait. Can't wait to. The excitement is. I know when I see that first trailer, y'all gonna know. I'm gonna blow up Twitter just with just crazy shit. I can't wait.
Yeah, man, because I'm telling you, I see Perp everywhere talking about attacking the Titans, man. So I said, I got to check this out, man.
Theo, how intrigued are you being somewhat you saw the first season, but now are you like, yeah, I'm gonna get in this.
Yeah, and I'm gonna even go back because, like I told y'all, man, I can remember I watched the first episode of Attack of the Titans at my girlfriend's house, man. But she my wife now, so and that was like 5 or 6 years ago. So
Mhm.
I really want to go back. I want to get into the story. I want to get into the characters because if y'all saying that this stuff rivals and even better than season 1 through season 7 of Game of Thrones, count me in.
It's not even a compare. I wouldn't even put it as a comparison. You can't even compare the two.
So you say, oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
The
But
only thing
I'm
I
gonna
could
put it
say.
like this though, Perp. Would you
Mhm.
rather watch Attack of the Titans or would you rather watch Game of Thrones if you only had one?
Attack on Titan all day, like it's crazy.
Okay.
For me,
But,
that'd be a harder question because I mean seasons 1 through like 5 or 6 was where I thought I was good, and 7 should have had. It should have been great, but because of how 8 ended, it kind of killed 7.
I'm gonna
the
say
only
1 through 6 was flawless, man.
Man.
the only show or other anime or whatever could compare to this is Vinland Saga because it's made by the same people. So that's like their next. That's what studio's next thing after Attack on Titan, and that shit is only 9 episodes in, and I'm blown away because the character development in that is, bro. I don't know how. Like I don't know. They need to get the people that are writing this to write some of these Hollywood scripts, bro. I'm telling you.
And that's what I'm saying, man. The Japanese, they take movies and take film and animation so seriously. Like I could seriously see them in them studios enjoying this stuff and writing this stuff, and don't nobody have a smile or laughing or nothing. I could
Yeah,
see them.
Yeah,
because
I'll give you guys
they're barely making minimum wage making these shits, like making these animes and stuff. They're making
Yeah.
like they literally making no money off this shit. Like,
So that show you how much they love it.
And I just want to say, getting into the topic of Asian film really quick because it kind of goes with this. Like, I saw this movie, and if y'all ever get a chance to, it's a recommendation from Zod. Zod approves. But watch this movie that I saw. It's called I Saw the Devil, and
oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so this movie will blow your mind. It's about this dude's and his pregnant wife gets brutally murdered by this guy, and he's like a special agent, and the dude's a serial killer, and he traps the serial killer, tortures him, and lets him go just so he can do it all over again. And so he's playing like a cat and mouse game with a legit serial killer who's been doing this for a while. Yeah,
That's a Japanese movie. Seemed like that was an American movie too.
No, it was a Japanese film, but it was crazy. It's like the things he does to this guy who's a serial killer, almost until you realize like how messed up he is. It almost makes you feel bad for the serial killer because like he tortures him, patches him up, and then releases him again and puts a tracker on him and tracks everywhere he goes just to do it all over again. I mean, it's wild. It is. Oh man, it's wild. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, check that out. It's called I Saw the Devil, and it's an accurate title. Like when you get to the end of this movie, you don't even know who you're rooting for because the cops messed up. The killer's messed up. I'm just like, I ain't got no heroes, man. Someone just gotta kill someone else. I don't know what's going on here.
But that's the cool thing about it because that's real. That's realistic.
Yeah, it's real life.
In the real world, you really don't have heroes because when you find out about your hero, like for instance, when I was younger, I used to really like Michael Jordan, and then when I got older, I started watching these interviews and listening to these interviews. Michael Jordan was stuck up and rude to people.
Yo, somebody was just talking about that on their podcast. How like he was talking about how he said fuck rap at a hip hop party or some shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, he made that joke about Chameleon and shit.
Yeah.
Said like I don't want no rap on my shit or some shit. I was
And
like,
see,
yo.
when I was growing up, I thought Michael Jordan was perfect.
Mm.
But see, that's what I like about the animes. Is no real hero out there, you know?
Yeah, I think that the thing with animes and swinging back around to the subject, especially Attack on Titan, I like how it's gritty, it's grounded, and it's war, right? And there is, and I'm doing air quotes, a good and a bad side, right? There is ideals that are conflicting, but when you look at it from both angles, each side thinks that they're right. So then it becomes the game of perspective and which side you're on. Because if you're on the enemy side, you're saying, I'm the right one because of this, this, and this. If you're on the opposing side, you're like, no, you're wrong because of this, this, and this. And the real tragedy is the people caught in the middle of that. And I think that's what the show does great too. It shows that you have these two sides opposing, but you have the people in the middle as well. And they're suffering the hardest due to the conflict of these two gigantic forces, these two opposing ideas. And then that's what's so mind-blowing about 3 is you see that what they've been fighting for is all wrong. That
You know what's so meta about this? Like, what Aaron's got to do now is what happened to him, pretty much. In the first episode, is how how they broke down that wall and stuff and infiltrated that, and like they're gonna have to do the same thing over here. But after
they've got to destroy other families. But now we're seeing it from, and I'm doing air quotes again, the hero's perspective, right? But when you think about it from the other side, another show that did this great was The Walking Dead, right? Because with Negan's my favorite character of all time. I don't care, like Negan's like I've got all of the graphic novels. Like when Negan was introduced, I'm like, oh, this is my boy. This is like
you piss your
Negan
pants yet?
What's that?
So you piss your pants yet?
Yep. Like, and when you see it, right? I started deconstructing Walking Dead, right? And we're seeing the whole saga through Rick, right? Rick and his group. And you're saying they're the good guys. But then when you look at Negan's end, okay, and you think about it from his perspective, this all started because that episode where they kill all the people in the satellite station. And now think about it from Negan's end, where these were his people. You came into his place. You slit their throats.
He even made mention to it, like to Rick. He's like, I went to send my people to kill your people, and you end up killing more of my people. So I have to kill your people. Like, I was like, yo, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Negan's
so
dope.
if you were following Negan would have been the good guy, and Rick would be the bad guy. Because here's this group who just comes out of nowhere, kills all of his people for no reason, and steals stuff.
And you know what was the kicker to that? He only wanted to kill one of their people for him killing all those people that he killed.
Yeah, and then when you get those episodes where you find out about Negan and the Saviors and why he started a group, Negan actually started it kind of like Rick started his group to survive. So who's really the villain, right? You talk about two strong-willed leaders about helping their people.
A lot of that
stuff like that fascinating.
A lot of that shit, whatever people say is that shit, they thought it's just like, oh, it's human versus human. It was more than that with just Negan. With the governor, you could say you could make that argument with the governor, but with Negan, he was literally like Rick's opposite.
I got a question. Is y'all watching this sub or dub?
What?
Attack of the Titans. Yeah.
Oh, I'm watching this sub. Dub is for peasants. I ain't got time to wait. Fuck that waiting shit.
Yeah.
That's why I started rocking with subs. It's like, because most of the time if it's not simulcast, like where pretty much the dub and the sub will come out at the same time, I'm most likely going to watch the sub anyways. But not a lot of animes get dubbed and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. It takes years for it to get dubbed.
It's quicker now, but like there are certain animes still that haven't even gotten a dub yet.
Yeah, Card Captor Sakura. Been waiting for that dub forever.
Cause see, this is the cool thing about it, y'all. When I was watching Dragon Ball Z, I didn't know Dragon Ball Z came out in the 90s. I thought they came out in the 2000s.
No, man.
Technically, it came out in Japan in '89. Came out in Japan, but got popularized and everything blew up in the States in the 90s.
Yeah.
So,
and you could tell by the style of anime.
Yeah, you could tell by the style, but it was so good. I was thinking, okay, this is some 2000s type stuff,
Yeah, it ages well. And just a sidebar, I went to see Jurassic Park today with my girl who's a friend. You know who I'm talking about, for the unicorn.
Yes.
And I'm watching it going, this has aged extraordinarily well. Those dinosaurs look better than half of the movies I've gone and seen this year.
What movie you talking about?
Jurassic Park.
Man, I can watch that first Jurassic Park 10,000 times over, man.
Right.
I went to see it in the theaters today, and I said to myself, this is more epic to me. This is like bringing me back to when my brother was scared from the dinosaurs. Because I have a younger brother, and we went to see Jurassic Park, and he was terrified.
Hey, bro, they saying now the dinosaurs was covered in feathers and stuff. I'm like, nah, bro, they look like that in Jurassic Park. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me dinosaurs didn't look like that, man.
Yeah, I'm going with the Steven Spielberg version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care what.
Hey, freak what science is talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Come on, can you picture a T-Rex covered in feathers?
It's some feathers like a bird, bro.
Turned into a chicken.
It's a giant chicken running around. It's like picture.
Could you imagine that though? Like, and what would your reaction be if you're like literally a football field away from a T-Rex? You think you have enough time to get away?
Nah, man, that T-Rex was hauling ass in that movie. That thing was keeping up with a Jeep. And then it just stopped because it got tired because it was like, yeah, man, I'm going to go.
Yeah, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for this.
The Black House was on their tail. And so that's why I've been watching a lot of anime, because what's coming out in movies. This movie, okay, we release new movies every Thursday. Spoiler alert, there is nothing in the theaters right now. There is absolutely positively nothing. There's only one movie
until Thursday.
Yep, I know what you're waiting for, because I gotta release that review. The embargo hasn't lifted yet.
I'm gonna have to get my tickets for it.
Yeah, I got to see that.
Oh,
I'm gonna go to a 5:00 show because I don't think I want to. I don't know, since it's such a long ass movie, I'd rather just try to get in there early.
Oh, round table. We're definitely gonna round table that.
I'm down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it.
That first movie was dope, though. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. The scene when they was in that garage watching him through that movie screen and he popped out, I was like, dang, that kind of startled me, man. I usually don't get scared watching horror movies, but that scene right there kind of did something to me, man.
Like, I still like the TV series, the mini series that they had, whatever. Like, but this seems like what we should have gotten. Like,
man, I'm telling you, the TV series, I tell everybody this, it scared you as a child, but when you grow up and look at it now, it's so cheesy looking.
Yeah.
Like, Tim Curry's Pennywise is still iconic though.
Yeah, he did an excellent job, but still it's cheesy. Yeah, because I mean, he was a spider at the end, bro, and I know that's going to the book.
I hope they changed that. I hope they changed that for this one.
I know he was in the form of a spider in the books, but still, bro, that did something to me watching that. I was like, a spider? Really?
Like in the house going, nah, I can't have these spiders in here. You might be like transforming, eating kids. That's a no go. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this conversation up. We've been going at it for a while, and actually, I can finally end at the time I'd normally be starting. That's so weird because normally I'd be starting my late night talks at midnight, but
Go into your little coma.
So on the next anime talk, is we gonna still be talking about Attack of the Titans or something
No.
different?
Something different.
Okay, cool.
I had a thought though, like, but I feel like we should wait more until we should probably wait until the end of the month, maybe, to do it. My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Since season 4 is coming out next month.
Yeah, let me catch up on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll have you on.
Is anything better than that last episode of season 1?
Oh yes. You haven't got to like you haven't even seen Stain, the League of Villains.
Man, y'all gonna make me
All for One.
You gonna make me lose my mind, bro. You gonna make me lose it, man. If it's doper than that last episode, man.
Bro, My Hero Academia is doing the comic book genre more justice than DC and Marvel right now.
I was thinking that too when I first seen that season 1. But I'm telling y'all, when I seen that last episode of season 1, you know how when Hulk Hogan get amped up, he ripped his shirt open. There was some stuff I was thinking about doing when I was watching that last episode. That's how pumped I was, man.
When All Might hits him with the plus ultra.
Man, that's probably one of the coldest things I seen on TV.
When he was like United States of Smash, I was like, yo, I got up out of my chair, I was screaming. I
got out of my chair too.
Wait, Zod, that is a spoiler.
Oh, my bad.
Damn, sorry.
But I mean, he used, and what was cold about it, you were so anxious because he was using all his juice up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, yeah, we gotta save that for another day because I'll start going crazy and giving out plots and stuff. I can't do that. So we'll wrap it up. But next week we will probably talk. I'm thinking maybe we'll go back. I don't know what you watch, Perp, but maybe we'll do like Cowboy Bebop or an older one, Trigun or one of those.
Yeah, we talk about it this week. We talk about it.
I've seen all of those.
Have you seen Cowboy Bebop?
I've seen Cowboy Bebop. I've seen all the Trigun. I've seen all of those.
Trigun's fire.
All right, so maybe we'll talk Trigun or Cowboy Bebop. I'm thinking maybe Cowboy Bebop because I have to go back through and watch Trigun again to remember. Like I remember most of it because my boy was Wolf. But
you guys ever seen Samurai Champloo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fire.
Yeah. I know. A while ago, it's probably like a week or so ago, I was on Trap's one of Trap's streams, and he said he wanted to hop on one of these days. So
yeah, man, we can like everyone. See, I try to tell people, everyone loves it.
I got somebody I can bring on for some anime talk. So depending on what we talk about and stuff, I'll probably hit up K Dot.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have K Dot on for a stream too. So, really quick, we'll start to wind things down, close it out. Let's start with Aaron Yeager, his unknown fate for season 4. Go ahead and tell us where we can find you, Perp, and what you doing.
You're this Perp, and you can find me at Perp Minded on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. I just dropped my season 6 episode 2 of Power. Definitely go check that out. Very interesting stuff if you're into Power. Also, I got a new episode of a new Snowfall review coming this Wednesday, but I also have a playlist for that. If you want to go check out my Snowfall playlist, and I will be reviewing it chapter 2. So check that out. I'll have that up. Try to have that up by like Thursday night or something like that. But yeah, this was dope. This was a dope stream. First time streaming with Fatal J.
Man,
Oh
So-
yeah, you right. I don't know. I thought we've been on the live stream together. Probably not.
Nah,
Okay.
not that I remember.
and of course, oh, continue. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. I'm done.
Oh no. I thought I came in there too early. Came in hot.
Am I too soon?
Oh, and don't forget to Purpose is part of the Bridge Crew, and you can catch them on late nights, which will be premiering tomorrow at the midnight hour. And now, the man, the myth, the indoctrinated general, Fatal J, joining
Yes.
the Fandom Zone finally. Where can we find you, and what kind of crazy new content you got coming out for us?
Well, first off, I want to thank General Zod for making me a lieutenant of the future world that he planned to take over. If you watching this, you better bend the knee to the General Zod because he will be the king of your world. And guess what? I support him. So make sure you subscribe and we may spare you. Now, my name is Fatal J. I am the lieutenant of General Zod. Now, I would like for you to go to my channel and make sure you watch a video that I did recently. It's the first video you will see called the Gamma Ray Blast 2. I put a lot of hard work into it. It's almost like a variety show. Like the late night talk shows.
That shit had me dying when you added the Tyrese shit in there. Yo, I was dying.
I tried to make it like it was a big gumbo of craziness and retroness and 80s and 90s. All that stuff that we remember, all the stuff that was cool on TV at the time in the 90s. I wanted to put that all in one video. So if you like that type of stuff, please do me a favor, check out that video and subscribe. Thank you.
And of course, you have been hanging with the general. Thank you for everybody who popped in and out. We had a good solid 10 or 11 people, I think 12 at one point. So thank you. I know some people didn't want spoilers, so they popped out. But thank you everybody who came and hung tough to listen to our great talk about anime. We're going to be doing more of these. I've had some pretty stellar numbers, so we got anime fans, and I'm glad to have you all for these discussions. I will be returning tomorrow night at the midnight hour to do a shilling. Don't miss it. We're going to get one of these shills. I'm thinking I'm swinging back around to Collider, so. I'm going to find me a nice Collider video. We're going to talk about their great critiquing. I've had one in mind for a Punisher review that really highlights the bias that they have. Because you got this one chick talking about how Punisher's a bad show because it's violent. Yeah, that's some of the great stuff. You're
the
going
most
to
retarded shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's like saying, Freddy
the
Krueger's
show
too.
sucks because it's too violent.
Real
like-
quick, I seen the Punisher 1 on Netflix. I never did finish the Punisher 2. Is it worth it? Is it worth finishing?
Yeah, definitely. It puts a nice little bow and brings things full circle. Wish it would have got a season 3, but
it might on Disney Plus though.
Sometimes
I doubt it. They're not gonna bring. They can't for. I know they can't for like another year because they're still under contract by Netflix. But once that year is up.
They're just gonna reboot all that shit.
Yeah, they'll probably put it on Hulu, is what the talks is, because they have stake in Hulu. So the shows they can't show on Disney Plus will probably go there. And some of the Fox properties.
I thought about something, right? It just came to me, right? If they're throwing all the rated R stuff on Hulu, what is the point in me getting Disney Plus?
Exactly. I've been saying don't endorse the mouse. Don't endorse
unless they do some fuck shit where like you'll go on Hulu, but this would be like, this is a Disney Plus exclusive. You must have the Disney blah 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 pack and shit for this. But yeah.
Lonely Banter saying, wrap it up, Zod. All right. So Anyways, this has been General Zod's channel. Thank you very much for coming on the Fandom Zone, because PB's back, and I know he's gonna say it's not a channel, it's the Fandom Zone. So, but yeah, this has been my channel, and next Saturday I will have on GSB on here. You've seen her in the chats. She has her own channel, and I want to highlight some of the stuff from little content creators and sort of the little YouTubers who won't get spotlighted and things like that, and some of the bigger channels, and talk about how they got started and things like that. So I'm going to interview everyone I possibly know. So definitely look forward to that. And also, we will be doing the showing. So I'm going to end this as I always end this. If you've been here in the Fandom Zone, remember the #1 rule: kneel before Zod.
Yeah.
And watch more anime.
Definitely watch more anime. Good night.
Good night, guys.